against us. He thinks they will face that today in South Carolina. He said they're big, they're physical, they have a good run scheme. And he said if our front can control the run game, it will be a huge key in this matchup.
Well, Will Muschamp's Gamecocks won the toss and deferred their option to the second half. So they will put the Dogs on the field first in his 4th season at South Carolina, and still trying to get this program among the SEC's elite. Tommy to kick it deep. And James Cook will bobble it and take a knee. So here comes Georgia. And Dan, for a team that wants to run the football, it helps to have this group up front.
Yeah, they are the traditional bulldozing Mauler type of offensive line. You see the weight, and they play to that strength. They are going to get a bunch of double teams, try to consistently change the line of scrimmage, and that's why they'll hand it off so many times.
That group paves the way for DeAndre Swift, who is #1 in the SEC in yards per carry. He averages 7 yards every time he touches the ball on the ground. And they'll start with Swift. And just a massive humanity that moves the pile for about 4 yards on first down. They changed the line of scrimmage for their head coach.
Well, and that's the way Kirby wants to play football. He wants to impose this Georgia football program's will. You can see it with the size of the offensive line. They come out with an extra tackle, playing the tight end position, kind of sending a message. Hey, this is exactly who we're going to be all day.
First time in Georgia history that they are 5-0 for the 3rd consecutive season to start the year. From long throw, Lawrence Cager pulls it in, and he's got a first down. How about the keys for Jake Fromm?
Well, for this offense, they've struggled a little bit the past couple of weeks. Let's go out and get some points early on. And listen, this is a team, we've talked about the run game. They're going to have to get the ball to the outside to eventually win this SEC title. South Carolina is going to play with some aggressive style on their back end defensively. As the quarterback for Jake Fromm, you make sure that you burn them in attacking those safeties.
Now they've got 6 offensive linemen in front of DeAndre Swift. And they'll go play action off of it. Fromm, long throw to the sideline, and he connects with Tyler Simmons. Gain of 14, and another Georgia first down.
See the feet right on the sidelines. Beautiful throw by Jake Fromm. Only where his guy could catch it, left foot down. Good completion, but I love the fact that they brought Simmons down in motion. We've talked about some of those outside guys really need to step forward. Well, they've struggled versus man. What do they do to help them? Short motion, get the press off, and then it allows them to get that free release for that deep out route.
Swift breaking tackles. Powers his way down to the 42-yard line for a gain of 7 more. That's his per carry average.
Yeah, you kind of like the fact that South Carolina looks, at least defensively, that they're trying to punch or rip at that football. Obviously, that Will Muschamp has said, we're going to have to try and steal the ball somehow, possession-wise today, and they're going to challenge Swift in his ability to hold on to that football on contact.
Well, the Gamecocks start off the year at 2-3. They've lost 2 of their last 3. And it's Swift again, right up the middle. He's got a first down. But Will Muschamp told us earlier this week, we're -2 for the season in the giveaway takeaway ratio. Can't win.
Yeah, and I'd say that today for them to win this football game, because they're good enough, is they got to get to +2 today. They got to get to +2 on the turnovers. And not only that, Bob, but you got to do something with it, right? If you get those turnovers, you've got to turn them into 14 points to have this chance to come in here and pull an upset.
Swift trots in motion. Fromm looks his way, wants the check down, and he hits Swift. A gain of a couple. TJ Brunson pretty good job in the open field on DeAndre Swift.
You know, we talk about some of the great backs in college football, and obviously Jonathan Stewart at Wisconsin's brought up, and then people go, well, can he catch the ball to the backfield? DeAndre Swift, to me, watching tape, is a guy that can do that more than people think or expect. Get him out, run some routes, beat the linebacker. Really nice job setting it up inside, breaking away.
Little zone read to Swift. And here's a big chance for South Carolina now. You know they're going to sacrifice some yards between the 20s, but when you get this offense in third down and medium, third down and long, can you get off the field and get a stop?
Yeah, and that's going to be the matchup today for South Carolina defensively on third down is how do you want to go after a kid in Jake Fromm who leads the country and starts. He has seen everything you want to throw at him. What Georgia likes to do is get empty backfield, and they don't even give Jake Fromm, hey, you've got to throw it here versus man or here versus zone. They give him 5 guys to throw to. He deciphers or eliminates guys before the snap and then goes through his progressions.
Here comes a blitz. Fromm well protected. Now the pocket starts to collapse, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Kingsley and Igbari brought him down. 4th down and about 6. And they are going to go, it looks like, to the crowd favorite, Rodrigo Blankenship, to try and kick it.
Well, they bring a late safety blitz, so you got 5 rushers at Fromm. They do a nice job of playing sticky man coverage, but really good job by Jake Fromm. 1, no sack, get forward, and then an excellent job by the coverage of South Carolina.
Blankenship hasn't missed this season, including a couple from 50 plus, this one from 50 even. Certainly has the distance. And it's got the accuracy as well. Rodrigo Blankenship stays perfect, and the Dogs strike first. If they're going to have a chance in this game, shorten the game, get stops on third down, and force the Dogs to settle for 3s instead of 7s.
Easier said than done, no doubt, and kind of like the thing of, hey, if we can just make this offense kick field goals, that's going to allow us to stay in this game and take advantage of some matchups they may have for South Carolina offensively.
And Shi Smith will let this one go through the end zone for a touchback. It'll come out to the 25-yard line. No mystery as to what South Carolina's chance is going to be offensively today. Give it to Tavian Feaster and Rico Dowdle and hope that they can control things.
Yeah, both coming off really good football games. We had South Carolina week 1. They were a zone run scheme. Now they've changed to an offense that wants to pull a bunch of people, get these big offensive linemen out in space. But the thing is, they got to commit to it. That's why they got to stay in the game. They got to be able to run it for 4 quarters.
Sideways, if not backwards pass to Shi Smith. That'll be a running play. And that will pick up a yard. Tay Crowder came over to make the stop. Azeez Ojulari there as well. 2nd down and 9. Play action for Ryan Hilinski. Long throw to the sideline. Up and over the head of Chavis Dawkins. How about the keys today for Hilinski?
Well, for the young freshman who's had some bright moments to start this season for himself playing, you're going to get some one-on-ones with the run game. You got to hurt Georgia in that. Find Brian Edwards. He'll probably be the best player when your football team is on the field on offense. And then you play with so much tempo. You got to play fast, but have a slow mind in a difficult environment.
Edwards is the closest to the tackle box, and the trips to the bottom of your screen, and there he goes in motion. 3rd down and 9. They set the screen up. Coming back to make the catch is Edwards. And he'll get gang tackled at the 31-yard line. About 4 yards shy of the 1st down. J.R. Reed, the first dog to get there. So it's a 3-and-out to start for South Carolina. He has now set the record, has Brian Edwards, a school record for consecutive games with a reception. Has a catch in every game he's played in. But conservative, as you would imagine, to start the game for South Carolina, and they go 3-and-out.
Yeah, and that's a credit to Georgia's defense. I mean, Jermaine Johnson, number 11, came off the edge, really changed the throw from Ryan Hilinski that made Edwards just step back, and that's what allowed the pursuit by Georgia's defense.
Very fast, fair catch made by Dominic Blaylock, all the way back to about his own 11-yard line. So Joseph Charlton just changed field position. 50 points for the Dogs.
You sure that wasn't De Niro?
When they come out with the Catfish Smith story, I think it'll be a young Bob De Niro that could play him. Screen out to Cager, rather Robertson, to start this drive for Georgia, as South Carolina significantly changed field position to start.
Well, talk about Jake Fromm. I would say he's the best quarterback in America connecting the dots. Watch how he sees to the right. Okay, the defender's going to flow. Come back across. That means someone else has to vacate. Now another defender has to leave. That's where the football goes. See how he feels his linebacker slough underneath. That means nobody could be outside. I could throw the ball to the perimeter. Easy pitch and catch. He's the best quarterback of understanding why he's doing what with the football.
He's got James Cook to his right in the shotgun. Looking at the Cook. Cook looks to turn the corner and gets strung out to about the 20-yard line. A couple of yards shy of a first down. 3rd and short after we check in with Matt Barrett.
Good afternoon. Time now for the Carbacks Big Play Update. We'll check in on Illinois and Michigan. Hassan Haskins, tough run, 25 yards for him. First career rushing touchdown. Michigan up early, 7-0 over on ABC.
All right, Matt, 3rd down and 1. As we approach the midway point of the first quarter. It's DeAndre Swift. It looks as if he edges his way just far enough to pick up the first down. But Dan, back to Jake Fromm for a moment. All the tape that we watched on him this week. Do you think he is the best processor of information of any quarterback in college football?
There's no doubt about it. I would say that he is a professional with his mind already. You're not going to be sitting in NFL rooms and hear them talk about why he does. Well, why did you throw the ball? I saw the safety go over the top and the corner came underneath and the defensive end went inside, so the ball had to go here. He's just really good at understanding, connecting dots of the defense and why I want to throw the football where I am.
And Samir White gives him 2nd down and short after a gain of about 8.
Zamir White, this is, DeAndre Swift is their guy, but this is the next guy for Georgia. Watch the physicality that he wants to run the football with. But I want to get back to Fromm and talking like everyone references the offense, the style. But when you have a quarterback, you don't have to throw it 45 times when you know he's going to throw it to the right place all the time, right? You don't need to, because he's going to have way less misses, both mentally and physically, than a lot of college quarterbacks.
Zamir White changes direction and loses a couple of yards, so it will be a 3rd down after T.J. Brunson gets a tackle for loss.
Guys, after that opening drive, Jake Fromm processing where South Carolina is bringing the pressure from and going over it with his offensive lineman. He took a knee next to O-line coach Sam Pittman for the majority of that time on the sidelines and went over with each guy who they need to pick up. He sees everything on the field and he relays it so clearly to everybody else.
That's what James Coley said. So it was Jake Fromm and Jimbo Fisher are the only 2 guys he's ever been around that knew where everybody was or needed to be. As Fromm is well protected here, over the middle, right through the hands of Eli Wolf, the tight end. Couldn't draw it up any better if you're Georgia. And the tight end dropped a wide open 3rd down conversion.
Well, South Carolina defensively decides to play man again. Jake Fromm, another beautiful ball. And it's just Eli Wolf stumbling a little bit, falling away from it. You really want to go attack that football and catch it with your face mask. And a big drop for Georgia's offense, but credit South Carolina playing some man coverage and challenging these Georgia receivers on the outside.
That's a big break for the Gamecocks. Let's see if they get some field position as Jake Camarda will punt. And that is a laser beam that's going to go over the head of Edwards. Will it reach the end zone? It goes sideways to the 7-yard line. A 67-yard punt for the sophomore, Jake Camarda. Wow. Well, deep in their own end, Matt, South Carolina, as Georgia flipped the field, and the Dogs have a 3-0 lead. Bob Wischusen alongside Dan Orlovsky. Allison Williams with us as well. Jake Camarda's career-long 66-yard punt in South Carolina deep. Rico Dowdle looking for a cutback lane. That's a good run. Now close to the 13-yard line to pick up 6.
Well, they bring double pullers, and watch Dowdle's patience, right? He's waiting. Okay, where's my puller? Where's my puller? Put my foot in the ground and get north and south. Really good job by Dowdle, stringing it out, finding the seam and going.
Dowdle Battle again, breaks a tackle in the backfield. It was about a yard and a half shy of the first down. Monty Rice brought him down, but Tyler Clark had a chance at a tackle for loss and missed it. Olinsky over the middle, tipped, and almost intercepted with a flag thrown to the secondary. Richard LeCount off the carom, had a chance at a pick. We'll have to check the marker.
I think they might get J.R. Reed with a little hold on Muse.
Pass interference, defense number 20. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes an automatic first down.
It's a shame we're bringing up J.R. Reed's name for the first time with a penalty call, because we sat with him yesterday as well, and what an impressive guy in terms of being the quarterback of this Georgia defense.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy who South Carolina plays with so much tempo. He's going to have to be the guy that gets the call from their defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning, personnel, down and distance. Then he becomes the communicator to everybody on defense within 6 or 7 seconds getting the proper call.
Dowdle gets outside and gets wrestled down after a gain of 2 by Monty Rice.
You can tell both of these football teams are playing a little bit the same defensively. Hey, we're going to get in your face, get to the line of scrimmage, play some man coverage, and make you make difficult, contested plays both in the run game and pass game.
Actually only gave Dowdle a gain of 1, so it's 2nd down and 9. Empty backfield for Ryan Olinsky. 2-2 as a starter since taking over when Jake Bentley suffered the Liz Frank injury in the opener. Olinsky, high throw, incomplete, broken up. He threw it just a bit behind Kyle Markway.
You guys see Ryan Olinsky wearing number 3, and that's a number that means more to him than probably any of us can even imagine. It's the number worn by his late brother Tyler, the Washington State quarterback who took his own life in January of 2018. For Ryan's senior year, he changed his number from 4 to 3. He also got a tattoo on his right forearm. So every time he snaps the football, he knows that Tyler is with him. His parents are also with him. Kim and Mark moved from Southern California to South Carolina to be closer to Ryan.
Every time Ryan throws a touchdown pass, you see that 3 up to the sky. He's looking for a 3rd down conversion here. And he finds Edwards on a deep crossing route, a big 3rd down conversion as Olinsky took a shot, and Mom and Dad love the intensity.
Guys, Kim and Mark have come to Columbia, and the community has really embraced them and their mission to change the conversation about mental health issues among student athletes. It's Olinsky's hope, and you'll see several guys on the team and throughout the South Carolina community wearing the bracelets, wearing the Olinsky Hope motto, and it's really a great cause that this entire community and team has rallied behind.
The courage that they as a family have shown. As Tavian Feaster picks up about a yard and a half. That was something that Will Muschamp brought up, and I thought it was so well said. So you talk to Kim, and she says the most difficult thing about trying to be a voice for mental health is that every time we go out and speak to groups, we have to relive Tyler's suicide all over again. As Josh Vann is about 4 yards shy of the 1st down, and he said it just takes such courage as a family to be willing to relive that tragedy over and over again and not try and put it back in the vault. But they have made that commitment as a family to do so in Tyler's memory.
The most impressive part of it is
there's a catch by Nick Muse, and he's got another 1st down.
I think the most impressive part of it is a lot of people suffer tragedy, right? And they say things, but they never actually put the words into action. And the whole Olinsky family has not allowed it to just be wordplay. They have totally embraced it and put it into action. And I can't fathom, to your point, Bob, the courage it takes almost on a daily basis to consistently make that decision, right? And it's an incredibly inspiring experience.
Play clock down to 6. Olinsky changed something at the line of scrimmage, but that threw the timing off. It'll be a false start.
False start. Offense number 84. first down.
A couple of big third down conversions for a South Carolina offense that after a 66-yard punt were pinned inside their own 10-yard line. At the very least, getting across the 50. Success on this drive. Play action for Helinski. He's going to take a deep shot down the sideline. He drops it in perfectly. Brian Edwards. That's a touchdown for the Gamecocks. It's a 93-yard touchdown drive to give South Carolina the lead.
For the young freshman handling the environment, they move the pocket for him a little bit. They understand that Brian Edwards is one-on-one in man coverage. You go give the big ball down the field, let him go make the play. Family celebrates together. South Carolina on top.
Defense stop a high-powered Penn State offense. Something's got to give in that game, and we saw Penn State last week get off to a really quick start and kind of get caught in the mud a bit.
Yeah, they might have been looking forward after that 21-0 jump. Penn State's defense is just so good, and they got some playmakers on offense. That will be a big game in Kinnick.
To the back of the end zone for a touchback from Will Tommy. Let's go back to Matt Barry.
Okay, guys, we'll head to Knoxville to check in on Tennessee and Mississippi State. Tim Jordan from 15 yards out, and the Tennessee defense just picked off Mississippi State. They've got the ball up 7-0 on the SEC network.
South Carolina, another SEC matchup against Georgia between the hedges, has the 7-3 lead. So now a little adversity to start the game for the Dogs. Let's see how Jake Fromm responds. DeAndre Swift up the middle. Spins for a first down. Kwame brought him down, but not before DeAndre Swift picked up 12.
Well, it's really the jet motion. Watch the right side of your screen. That linebacker, Ernest Jones, just hesitate for a second. That allows Swift that cutback lane and then to get back outside. Good use of the jet motion by Georgia's offense.
Pretty good one-on-one tackle for a corner on a big-time running back as well by McQuamu.
Helps when you're 210 pounds and 6'4".
Fromm hesitates and then throws it away.
Part of the reason why Jake Fromm in this Georgia offense only has 1 sack, right? An RPO where you make the decision, okay, I'm not giving the run. Now it has become pass mode, but the pass isn't there. So many quarterbacks would panic in that moment, oh, force it in, whatnot. Fromm, just throw it over someone's head, and you'll be fine. They look for a screen here. Georgia likes to do perimeter screens on second down.
Instead, they'll hand it to Swift. It'll be third down and about 5.
Now, as we head to third down here, Georgia's had some offensively on third down, and what South Carolina has done is said we don't, in essence, we don't respect or fear your perimeter guys on the outside. We're going to play man-to-man. And Georgia last series did a nice job of getting in some bunch splits to help guys get off press. You're going to see another one at the top of our screen. You're going to see those receivers tighter together right here. See if you can get some in and out type of releases to help man-to-man coverage. Someone has to win.
Fromm, pitch and catch to James Cook. He always seems to know exactly where he wants to go with the football.
Well, the big thing is they put James Cook on the outside as a running back, and South Carolina kept Israel Mukuamu out there, the cornerback. You told Jake Fromm before the snap, we're playing zone coverage. We're changing it up. We're not going to play man. He takes the snap. You're in soft zone coverage. Ball's out of his hand before James Cook ever turns around. Easy first down.
Play action for Fromm. Long throw to the sideline. The freshman George Pickens has a first down, picks up 10.5. And that should take us to the end of the first quarter. And it will. Georgia on the move. South Carolina with the lead. Wilson Williams set for the start of the second quarter. South Carolina with their longest scoring drive of the season. Put the only touchdown on the board so far, but now Georgia in business with a first down at the Gamecocks 37 to start the second quarter. DeAndre Swift gets outside and is brought down at the 30-yard line. That might be a horse collar tackle on TJ Brunson.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 6. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So if you get up on the collar and you pull that player down immediately with that thrust to the ground, it's going to be 15 yards. And TJ Brunson cost his team big time. It's a first down inside the 15-yard line now for Georgia. With a shoulder fake. Sidearms one. Down inside the 5-yard line of Blaylock. It's first and goal.
That's a quarterback getting to number 3 in man coverage. They try to double move. That wasn't there. He came to number 2, crossing. That's not there. And then like this drop down, sidearm, a little Matthew Stafford, ex-Georgia Bulldog type of throw, and accurate, gets the ball down to the 2-yard line.
Going to say that Blaylock was down at the 4-yard line. Still first and goal for Georgia. DeAndre Swift turned back at the goal line. It'll be second down and goal at the 1. R.J. Roderick, the safety, came up to help.
Yeah, watch number 10 right side of your screen. Watch Roderick, the safety, with the help of Ernest Jones, number 53. Both get low, gain leverage, and make sure Swift and his legs can't get in.
Another try for Swift. And he's in this time for the Georgia touchdown.
This is all DeAndre Swift's route. He's going to get stopped by DJ1 right there. But the strength to get into the end zone, leg drive and power. So it gets that touchdown for Georgia.
10 touchdowns last year for Swift. Already 5 rushing touchdowns now this season. The 180th consecutive made point after for Rodrigo Blankenship. Makes it 10-7 Georgia. As good a scene as there is in college football between the hedges. Georgia takes the lead, 10-7. Now let's see how South Carolina responds after a drive. The last time they had the football, that has to build an inordinate amount of confidence, I would think, for a freshman quarterback.
And it's exactly what they want to do. Commit to the run, get some good yardage in it, and then find Brian Edwards in one-on-one situations down the field.
Blankenship through the back of the end zone. Back to Matt Barry.
Guys, all blue early on, Michigan and Illinois. Shea Patterson, 25 yards to Luke Schoonmaker. Only his second career catch at Michigan. 14-0 early against Illinois.
Ryan Helinski, about as flawless as could be on that last drive. Starts off with a straight drop back on this drive. And over the middle, he's got Edwards, and Edwards has collapsed at about the 31-yard line, but picks up 6.
Guys, Kirby Smart knew that South Carolina's tempo would present some challenges for his defense. It has, but so has their shifts and motions. So he made some adjustments in the back end of his defense and reminded his guys, you have to trust the call and respect your teammates enough to do their job. Continue to cover them. Our pressure is coming.
No pressure that time. Although Helinski with a check down, at least a couple of yards shy of the first down to Edwards. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2. Timeout called by the Georgia sideline just before the snap.
Timeout, Georgia. First timeout of the half.
A big 3rd down, but we come back.
Yeah, this is why Georgia had to take that timeout. Look at the communication on their back end, right? They're trying to set to this empty set, and then watch 89, Brian Edwards move across. Walter Grant's in the wrong location, and as that motion comes over, you're in a bad place right there if you're Georgia. So all that communication by their defense, and then the motion forced Kirby Smart to make that timeout.
Recognized by the Georgia sideline. Helinski. Sliding attempt on 3rd down and short is on time for Nick Muse. He's got the first down. Helinski holding that left knee, slow to get up. He took a shot, limping back into the huddle.
Can't be more impressed with Ryan Helinski as he takes that shot from Mark Webb, number 23, but the ball got out. You certainly hope he's okay because he's been so impressive to start this game for South Carolina.
He may not be able to defend himself. They may have to call a timeout just to get Helinski off the field. He's going to hand it off to Dowdle. And Dowdle's going to find some room and get nearly to midfield. He picks up 9, but the question I would have, Dan, from the South Carolina sideline as he tries to run this off, if all of a sudden some big body from Georgia is after Helinski, will he be able to defend himself?
Well, we're going to find out because I'd imagine Kirby Smart will come after him, right? Respectfully and in between fair play, but try and test the knee.
Dowdle instead. And it looks like he might have the first down.
And this affects their play calling, right? As we see Dakarian Joyner, South Carolina's backup quarterback. This affects your play calling right now if you're Brian McClendon in South Carolina. Okay, we want to get some yardage, but how is our quarterback feeling?
He's going to throw it here. Swing pass, Dowdle, submarines for about 3. Brought down by the freshman, Kobe Dean.
You know, like I said, I'd expect Kirby Smart to pressure him. Let me see if you can move on a knee that might have been banged or whatnot.
Tavian Feaster grinds out about a yard. Ryan Helinski's got 8 straight completions going right now, off to a 9-11 start, but they are faced with another 3rd down, 3rd and 6. Gamecocks are 3 for 4 on 3rd down. Four-man rush. The catch made just shy of the first down by Markway, but he reaches the ball out, and they're going to mark him a half-yard shot. I'm not sure if he was down. This may be a spot they want to review. He's not down. They're going to quarterback sneak it with flags everywhere. We'll have to sort this out.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
And that's why tempo sometimes hurts you. Like, there's more that you can gain from not going fast than you can gain from going fast. If you felt, because it's on your sideline too. That play by Markway was on your sideline. Someone had to see and at least get word down. This is really close. We don't have to go super fast. Let us take a look at that. And it ends up hurting South Carolina, which would have been a first down.
South Carolina beat the replay booth. Dominic Blaylock with a fair catch at the 13-yard line, but had an opportunity to take a look at that reach by Markway. It might have been a first down, and Ryan Helinski is heading into the injury. And we are in the South on a college football Saturday. Georgia back to the offense. Zamir White finds a lane, gets tripped up, but he's got a first down. DJ Wanham saved an even bigger play than the 11.5-yard gain, and there is Dakereon Joyner warming up on the South Carolina sideline as they're still taking a look at Ryan Helinski. Joyner would be the third quarterback of the season for South Carolina. Jake Bentley injured in the opener. Helinski took over. Joyner started the season as a wide receiver, but had to move back to quarterback to protect Helinski as the backup. White, this time met right at the line by Ernest Jones. Still is able to power forward for about 4.5 yards.
The interesting thing for South Carolina is, okay, if it's not Helinski and say he can't go, Dakereon Joyner is a completely different skill set, right? Like, it is going to be much more zone read, designed quarterback run, get the ball outside with an athlete, and that might be something that Georgia is not completely ready for defensively.
Again, Zamir White. And again, it's a Dawgs first down.
Zamir White again on the carry.
Now you talk about changing the line of scrimmage. Just watch the red where the ball snapped, and then the change of that line of scrimmage. First contact's 4 or 5 yards downfield. This Georgia offensive line is maulers.
Fromm with all day. Throws it behind his intended receiver as he tried to find White. Ernest Jones was there in coverage. Second down and 10.
He had White in a one-on-one matchup on the linebacker. Perfect play for the coverage that South Carolina decided to run, and use that. Right there is something that you very rarely see from Jake Fromm, and that's just a missed throw with his location. I mentioned it before, second and long. This is a really big screen down, all kinds of screens, though, not just to the running back, but maybe to a perimeter outside screen down for Georgia's offense.
DeAndre Swift this time. Pulled down from behind, shy of the 40-yard line by Kobe Smith. So it's third down again.
I've got to imagine that South Carolina, Will Muschamp are going to line up and play man coverage here. They played soft zone last time, didn't work. Jake Fromm picked them apart. I expect them to get up into these receivers' faces and play some man coverage. And for Georgia, finding someone in a matchup that you like to win.
Low snap. Fromm up the seam, trying to scoop it up as Cager. And on the field, they will say that is a clean catch, though Cager comes up hurt.
Nice job by Cager going down, getting those elbows together to make sure that ball never got the opportunity to squirt through.
Picked up 18 yards, but now Lawrence Cager, who has probably been the most consistent wide receiver and biggest downfield threat for Georgia, he's on the sideline. While on the other side, Ryan Helinski's on the bike, trying to stay warm for the next possession for South Carolina. Fromm, again well protected, takes a shot down the sideline, incomplete. Laying out was the freshman George Pickens. Be second and 10.
Listen, Pickens is going to have a really nice career here, but watch him widen right away. Like, the first thing he does is go towards the sideline versus J.C. Horn, and there's nowhere for Jake Fromm to throw that football. That football has to be absolutely perfect. You want to squeeze that corner, squeeze and fight back to the middle of the field, and then you get the opportunity as a quarterback to do your fading him to the sideline.
Swing pass to Cook. Rallying is the defense for South Carolina. Sherrod Green got there first. It's a loss of a couple, And now it's 3rd down and a long 12.
And I like the fact that you brought up Sherrod Green on that tackle. He's the 3rd linebacker for South Carolina. They've gone to be playing 3 linebackers almost all the time.
Rare in college football,
absolutely,
right?
especially for 3 wide receivers, because they go, wait, we're a team that says we want to stop the run, but we don't have the people on the field to stop the run. So they're leaving Sherrod Green out there to commit to stopping the run, but he's also good enough in their pass game and in space, and he showed it there.
Georgia's 3 for 5 on 3rd down, but 3rd down and 12. Wide receiver hitch to Tyler Simmons. Crowd's not going to like that call, because that's set up going forward on 4th down. Aaron Sterling got him down inside the 40-yard line. This may be just out of the range of Blankenship. That might have been a design play, knowing you're going for it on 4th down.
I think they're going to get up to the line of scrimmage and try and get, if you can see if you can get South Carolina to jump off sides here.
They can't get a 1st down, even with an offsides call. It's 4th and 6.
So now they don't jump off sides, but you still have plenty of time to figure out, okay, what are you doing defensively? My expectation is you've got man-to-man. You find a matchup that you like, maybe at the bottom of your screen.
Gamecocks bring a blitz. Fromm slings one down the sideline, incomplete. Trying to find Demetrius Robertson. South Carolina gets a stop on downs. 5.5 minutes to go in the 1st half. And the South Carolina defense rises up. Bulldogs that have been taken #1 overall in the NFL draft. Can you name them? We'll have the answer coming up a little bit later on. Good question.
It's a good, I know one.
Oh, you got to go to the history books to
I know
find
one.
a couple of them. Good news as well with Hilinski out at quarterback, gutting it through the knee injury. Swing pass to Shi Smith. No gain on 1st down, but just seeing Hilinski off the bike and on the field has got to be a boost to South Carolina.
But is it any surprise that the kid is tough? You know, that he's physically tough?
Play action. Here comes the blitz. Long throw to the sideline, and he squeezes it through. Chavis Dawkins has a 1st down, and Hilinski gets up and fights through it again. And all his family has fought through.
Takes the shot, and that is not normal for any quarterback, let alone a freshman to throw. You take that shot, and that ball was thrown 3 steps before the receiver was ever looking for it. Ryan Hilinski, listen, no longer a freshman, right? He's not playing like one.
Rico Dowdle finds a cutback lane in the secondary. And he's got a Gamecocks 1st down and a gain of 13, brought down by J.R. Reed.
South Carolina's got something there, getting to a tight end wing formation and running back to the boundary. They're collapsing one side, bringing pullers around, and those double tight ends and tackles are doing a nice job to give that back some seams.
Committed to the run. And why not? Rico Dowdle, 3 more. You know, talking to both coaches this week, it's rare that both coaches will just come out and admit exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? Kirby Smart said, they're going to run the football on us. You say to the South Carolina coaches, they're expecting you to run. South Carolina coaches, including Coach Muschamp, says, you know, yeah, they're right. We're going to run. Little pop pass underneath. Thrown behind the receiver by Hilinski. Nick Muse couldn't haul it in. So now it will be 3rd down.
And this is this pin and pull run game for South Carolina. You're going to get a tight end and tackle. Pin down. You're going to change the pinpoint right there, and then you get those double pullers, and the back is able to follow him. Now Nick Muse, he pins the edge of the defense, and you get 2 pullers for Rico Dowdle to follow. This is the basis of what South Carolina's run game has become, and they do it really well.
Might be 4 down territory. We'll see. Swing pass caught by Shi Smith. 4 yards shy of the 1st down. Devon Wilson made the stop for the Dogs. It's a long field goal attempt or a go-for-it situation on 4th and 4. And trying to tie the game will be Coach Muschamp as Hilinski limps off. Parker White, 7 of 9 on the season, has only misses this year from 50 and 53. So this would be a new career long, just a shade inside of 50. It's got the distance. It's got the accuracy. How about that? A new career long for Parker White. And we are deadlocked with 3 minutes to go in the half. While the Gamecocks fans celebrate, let's get you the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Who are the 4 Georgia Bulldogs to be selected #1 overall in the NFL draft? Herschel, of course, not on that list. If you know anything about the USFL, all the way back to Frank Sinkwich in 1943 through to an old teammate of yours, Matthew Stafford, taken #1 in the draft.
Someone would say I got Matthew drafted #1 overall.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not on purpose.
Gotcha.
But because of being part of a really, really substandard and poor 2008 team.
So you're saying that the brass for the Lions said to themselves, we think we can get better at quarterback?
Shocker. They take the most talented kid in the country.
Wow.
So, you know, I've known him for a long time, and he hasn't necessarily thanked me for that, which is odd.
Just so you know, next year, I'm not expecting Matthew Stafford to be next to me in this booth.
Yeah.
He's not replacing you on this job.
I do not think that's breaking news.
Kickoff. Zamir White and James Cook, deep for the Dogs.
Gamecocks, heavy underdog by more than 3 touchdowns, are more than making a game of it. Let's see what Georgia does before halftime with 3 minutes to go after we check in with Matt.
All right, Orlovsky, quit being so hard on yourself. Coming up with the Lexus halftime report, a little deep-fried football down in Texas. We'll check into the Red River Showdown. Plus, Tennessee trying to get a win at home. Plus, who needs to be on upset alert this afternoon? Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
All right, Matt, all we're ever worried about with Orlovsky is the depth of the booth, Matt, in case you're wondering. Just want to make sure he knows where the rear boundary is and how much room he has.
Oh, well done. Really well done. Proud of your effort there.
Thank you. DeAndre Swift picks up 5 on first down.
Guys, South Carolina loves the toughness they're seeing from their defensive line against this massive Georgia O-line. They're telling them they have to continue to be the more physical group, saying they're tall, but we have to get low, keep our hands inside, and win the war of wills up front. It's been a great start for the first few minutes here. They need to get that same level of effort and toughness for the full 60 minutes.
Well, part of that is helped by number 3, Javon Kinlaw, who might be one of the better SEC defensive linemen, and then Aaron Sterling, kind of old school throwback players. They'll do it dirty, they'll get physical, they'll make it a nasty football game down low inside. So not only are they talented, but they've got the mindset to kind of go and counter against this Georgia offensive line.
And that was Kinlaw at the bottom of the pile with the stop on Swift after only a gain of a yard. So now it's 3rd down and 4.
This is the down that has really slowed Georgia down offensively in this first half, is not being able to do anything on 3rd down in man-to-man coverage. They've got to find a way to get some stacks, some bunches to help releases, to get hands off from these defensive backs.
Play clock at 4. 4-man rush. Fromm slings one into traffic, and a terrific catch made by Lawrence Cager for a first down, a gain of 10.
Really nice job by Jake Fromm, moving in the pocket, finding the man-to-man that had a chance to win Cager with a tough contested catch.
And now with 2 timeouts, playing with tempo is Georgia. That forces South Carolina into a defensive timeout. With TJ out again this week, he's got that Achilles injury, so Ryan Clark is back with Boomer on NFL Primetime tomorrow at 7:30. Only on ESPN Plus. All the highlights and breakdowns from the day's games. To get ESPN Plus, download the app or go to ESPNplus.com. What has surprised you the most about how South Carolina has gotten this game tied?
Well, I would say their run game. I figured they would want to run it, but this is a almost dominant run defense for Georgia, and so you never know, are you actually going to be able to do that? So that's been a little bit surprising. I've been blown away by Helinski. I shouldn't have been because of what I saw in tape. And then their defensive willingness to go, okay, listen, we're going to play man-to-man coverage. We talked about it, though. No one on Georgia scares you on the perimeter outside. No one scares you to go play man-to-man coverage. And I think that's got to be a little concerning for Georgia and their fans is when teams want to and can play man coverage, we don't necessarily have a McCole Hardman or an A.J. Green or Riley Ridley that can beat it on a consistent basis.
That's Cager one-on-one at the top of your screen. Rom instead looks to the wide side and finds the freshman George Pickens. But South Carolina has played this defensively like an NFL game, haven't they? Keep it in front of you, no big plays, shorten the game. Georgia using clock here, and it just keeps the game low scoring and you stay in it. Rom slings one to the sideline and it's intercepted by McQuamu. He's down the sideline. Long strides to the pylon for a pick six. Jake Fromm's first pick goes the other way for a touchdown. Kinlaw got the pressure. McQuamu read the throw to the sideline, and he took it to the house. 53 yards for a Gamecocks touchdown. South Carolina.
Just watch this game by the defense. They're going to crisscross on this Georgia offensive line. Kinlaw starts inside. He goes out, getting leverage on Isaiah Wilson, and then Fromm moves. And whether he's trying to throw that ball away or not, McQuamu's 6'4" frame long enough to go make the play. And South Carolina turns the turnover into quick points. That's what pressure can do, though.
Earlier this season, you saw Israel McQuamu and you said, you know, he reminds me of somebody.
Yeah, with his length and then his frame, he reminds me of Nnamdi Asomugha, who I played against in the NFL. Nnamdi was a corner because of the length of his arms. He was so good at getting hands-on. And then we often talk about catch radius for receivers. His catch radius as a defensive back was so incredible. We saw it with McQuamu right there. If he's not 6'4", that ball's thrown away and that touchdown never happens. But the length of him as a corner is really so unique in college football.
Only a sophomore. His third career interception becomes a pick six. And James Cook takes a knee. Well, this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you to Allstate.
You think if you're Georgia offensively, you should go be aggressive again right now. Like short memory. Jake Fromm obviously has played enough short memory. You got to try and go get some points here and reset 2-minute mode.
DeAndre Swift, plenty of room with South Carolina expecting pass. And he blasts up the middle for about 14 yards. That stops the clock with the first down. Still 2 timeouts for the Dogs. Fromm with a shoulder fake. Now he's out of the pocket. Long throw up the seam and it's dropped. George Pickens couldn't scoop it off the turf top. Check that. DeAndre Swift was trying to haul that one in and just couldn't pick it up.
I saw Swift do that in an earlier game. I think it was against Tennessee. He's just a traditional check down. really good feel to go downfield because the linebackers playing underneath the offensive line gave Fromm a ton of time. You know, South Carolina's not going to give you a shot downfield right now. I think just work the boundary. Throw some outs, throw some comebacks. These corners are not going to give you a deep ball downfield.
Four-man rush, well protected again. There is the deep shot down the field, and it's well overthrown. J.C. Horn was there in coverage. Crowd looking for a flag, but that looked like very good coverage from the other sophomore corner, Tyler Simmons.
They're trying to get a double move. They want to go out with Simmons and up, but you see J.C. Horn just staying on top, and he's on top of the receiver. Now, Simmons is the guy that gives a little shove right there. But if I'm James Coley, I want to just get some easy completions, especially here on 3rd and 10. South Carolina is not going to come up and give you the chances you had earlier in this half. They will play soft, have something going towards the sideline, and outroute a deep comeback that can take advantage of the free access.
Fromm over the middle. That's a first down catch. Majors got it. Let's see if they call a timeout, but the clock stopped, 25 seconds to go, and now it starts to wind. And now they will call a timeout. Just a little too much time is going to come off the clock there, even with it stopping, and Cager having to shake off, I think, the earlier injury that he suffered on that deep comeback down the left sideline. We're starting off the day in the SEC. How about the game today in Death Valley in the SEC tonight?
Supposedly going to be a big football game.
I think it's time to let go.
Death Valley is alive and electric.
I thought I let you all know. It's time to let go.
Yeah, like I was saying, supposedly going to be a big football game. Florida's defense, you know, I'm excited to watch Florida's defense, who we also had again earlier this year. I don't think anyone's really gotten in the face of the LSU receivers. We're seeing it here with South Carolina's defense today. Get in the face and get physical with them and not give easier throws. And Florida will do that. Marco Wilson, C.J. Henderson, Sean Davis, they will get in the faces of these LSU receivers and challenge them, I really think, for the first time this season.
And you think Florida might win that game outright?
I do, because the defense and doing something to LSU that they haven't really consistently had done. And then I'm a Dan Mullen, Kyle Trask combination believer. I think that they're good enough to handle the environment.
That's Dan Orlovsky. I'm Bob Wischusen. Allison Williams with us here in Athens as well. An eye-opening first half score. South Carolina's got the lead. One timeout left for Georgia. Four-man rush. Fromm steps up in the pocket. It collapses, and down he goes. And I'm almost surprised that Kirby Smart called the timeout. The helmet came off of Jake Fromm, which means he's going to have to come off the field for a play unless a penalty was called. And Georgia did spend the timeout with 20 seconds to go.
This is really certainly a coverage sack. But really what's going on is Georgia's trying to hit the home run every play, and South Carolina's playing soft, and there's nowhere to throw the football. And then that defensive line rush for South Carolina, because this coverage is so high, they're getting enough time to get home to Fromm.
Now, because Georgia called the timeout there, Fromm is going to be able to stay in the game. But I'm not sure how frisky you want to get with your play calling here, do you? I mean, I would think third down, or rather second down and long, only 20 seconds to go in the half. Do you risk another turnover?
No, I absolutely. You trust your quarterback who's played a ton of snaps. I think that Georgia has the opportunity again. South Carolina's playing so soft. You can throw this ball at about 20 yards on the hashes, like a big in, or towards the sideline. Now, the big thing you got to do is, again, the communication of, if we do get this first down, what is the operation? Is it a quick spike? Is it we're going to run the field goal unit on at some point? That's got to be part of your thought process here.
There's the throw to the sideline. And that will stop the clock. George Pickens gets them into field goal range.
I think here you come up and stop the clock immediately with the spike, and then you determine what you want to do on second down.
There's the spike. Now they're out of timeouts. 10 seconds to go. Enough time for a quick hitter to the sideline, but if you get tackled in the field of play, the half might end.
And that's why it's on Jake Fromm here of where you throw this football. Okay, so really as a play caller, what you want to do is have a 5-7 yard route that goes towards the sideline, and you tell your quarterback, listen, if it's there, throw it. If it's close, your family catches it in the stands and will kick a field goal with Blankenship.
Well, Blankenship can make from here. They're inside his acceptable range. There's the throw to the sideline. Taking no chances on anything but the clock stopping. And it looks like they're going to run Blankenship out now. His career-long 55 in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma a couple of years ago. That was a Rose Bowl record as well. And this one from 53. Timeout called by Will Muschamp.
Really good job by Georgia's offense of giving yourself opportunity for points. You obviously would have loved to go down and get a touchdown, but good job handling the situation and getting yourself an opportunity to kick the field goal. I like the timeout by Will Muschamp. You're not taking him into halftime, right?
You're also not icing this kicker, as coming up tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown. Before they square off head-to-head, Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield go quarterback to quarterback, plus Peyton Manning goes one-on-one with Brett Favre. And how Patrick Mahomes' hairstyle has taken KC by storm. That's Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN tomorrow. Well, this is a guy that made a 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl a couple of years ago. He also made a 51-yarder to give Georgia the lead in the 2017 championship game against Alabama. This is a 53-yarder at the end of a regular season half. And it looks like Will Muschamp's going to allow him to think about it a little bit longer. Crowd loves that.
I don't mind the timeout. I don't. I mean, there's no point in keeping them. I understand Blankenship is a, well, I guess you can call him a generational kicker, right? I mean, he's that good.
He's that good.
Listen, you always force athletes to think about the moment. And I'm sure he's got his routine. You can see him on the field going through his routine like the timeouts never happened. That's what great players do. But it's a good job by Will Muschamp going, okay, there's no point in me keeping these timeouts.
He was a walk-on until Kirby Smart put him on scholarship a couple of years ago before the Notre Dame game. And Kirby asked him, just tell your parents, keep it to yourself. Well, then he made what turned out to be a game-winning field goal. And afterwards, in the locker room with the team around him, said to Blankenship, what do you have to tell your team? Said, I'm on scholarship, guys, and they lost it. So now, with no more timeouts to call from 53. And that's deflected. That had nothing to do with the kicker being iced. That had to do with that defensive front for South Carolina, stopping Georgia before the gun. And it is a 7-point lead for the Gamecocks at halftime.
The big senior Dylan Wanham just in the middle of your screen. Watch number 8 with the left hand. He gets it up. The timeouts pay off for South Carolina defensively.
What a first half. What will we have in the second half? We'll find out right now. Time for the studio and the halftime report.
Bob, thank you. Welcome into the Lexus Halftime Report. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Barry. How about South Carolina going between the hedges, mess with Georgia right now? They are loving that at the Village Idiot back in Columbia. They are watching it, and they are loving this football game. We'll discuss this game coming up, but more SEC action to talk about. Tennessee also at home trying to get a win, taking on Mississippi State. First quarter, Tommy Stevens sacked by Darrell Taylor.
Weren't sure who was going to start at quarterback for Mississippi State, but this Tennessee defense has been swarming Stevens. They also forced him into 2 interceptions.
Another example of that right here. sacked again, loss of 6. Later, Tim Jordan, 15-yard touchdown.
This 1-4 Tennessee team is ready to play at home, taking the early lead. Stevens 6 for 27 yards.
173 total yards for Tennessee in the first half. We got a good one going on in Dallas between Oklahoma and Texas. Should be a blowout. It's not. We'll show you why coming up next. First quarter, Hassan Haskins gets his first career touchdown.
This is good news for Michigan. They were only averaging 3.5 yards per rush. Not physical enough, but here an explosive run to help get this offense kickstarted.
Depth behind Charbonnet for the Wolverines. Later in the first, Shea Patterson to Luke Schoonmaker.
After last week's game against Iowa, Harbaugh said this offense is really close to being on all cylinders. Looked pretty good today against Illinois.
Second career catch for Schoonmaker. Then we had a little special teams.
Yeah, this Michigan team not looking ahead to their big tilt against Penn State next week right now, handling Illinois on the road.
You know, we got 16 undefeated teams in FBS. Memphis is one of them. They'll tell Anthony Russo and Brandon Mack out of Temple.
Yeah, Temple's played well early in this game. Russo's 8 of 12 for 105 yards as they punch this in, take the early lead against Memphis.
All right, first quarter still in the 50. Memphis down 10-0, and the defense for Temple, that's really their calling card.
And that's the big story in this game so far. Here Brady White gets sacked by DeAndre Kelly, fumbles the ball. Sam Franklin jumps on it. 3 turnovers already early on for Memphis's offense.
You got to scoop and score. There to be great. Anthony Russo then end around to Isaiah Wright. Temple up 23-14. Memphis has closed the gap just before the half in that one. The big one, little deep-fried football down to the State Fair, Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas. I love this. Before the game, we had a fight.
Yeah, you knew that was going to
We had sportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Don't call it a fight.
Then we played football. Jalen Hurts running the ball well early.
Yeah, he was. He got 107 yards rushing so far in this game. He started off 6 of 7, was on fire early.
How about Lincoln Riley early?
I love the play call on 4th and 1. Little wiggle there by CeeDee Lamb to show it's man-to-man. Now you know you got the pick play set up.
But again, Texas, kind of a bend but don't break for them in the first half here because this could have been ugly early.
Yeah, really poor decision as you see here by Jalen Hurts. Threw an interception last week against Kansas. This is a big one, keeping Texas in this game.
Already 10-0 just before the half there. Jess, we had talked about it in a lot of our pregame shows this week that Alex Grinch cannot be understated as a defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. What have you seen in the first half?
This was an opportunity for their defense to show that they really are improved. And right now, guys, lights out. They've given up less than 80 yards to a Texas offense that scored 35 or more points in 5 straight games. They're stopping the run. They're setting Sam Ehlinger up in 3rd and long situations. This D-line has been dominant, pinning their ears back. And because Oklahoma is running the football so well, eating up clock, staying on the field, defense has only played 21 snaps.
Yeah.
So they're fresh. They're flying around. They look like a national championship caliber D.
How do you feel if you're Oklahoma, though? You've dominated this game. Texas can't move the ball. You've moved it. You're only up 10-0.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is killing them running the football. Passing, he started off 6 of 7. He's gone 3 of 8 since then. And so offensively, if you're Oklahoma, you're not feeling real comfortable about what's happened so far. And if you're Texas, you're saying we're only down 10, and we have not played our best football.
I mean, it should be 24-0.
We were just talking about this. Should be a blowout. It should be all Oklahoma. Texas about ready to kick a field goal just before the half, but just 10-0 sooner. Speaking of surprising starts, South Carolina over Georgia. We'll discuss this game coming up on the Lexus halftime. Against a top 5 opponent since 2012. That also against Georgia. What's USC doing?
Well, coming into this game, you figured they had to feed Feaster, they had to feed Dowdle, and just basically run the ball. But Helinski is 13 of 16. He's made some plays. He's been banged up. He's limping around out there, but he's continually finding ways to move the chains. And right now, South Carolina looks like the better football team.
Yeah, it looks like if South Carolina is going to win this one, they're going to have to keep throwing it in the second half. My question is, can South Carolina's defense hold on? And they've done a really good job in the first half. They're not giving up any explosive plays. They're forcing Jake Fromm and this rushing attack of Georgia to have to drive the field to get points. We know about all the game breakers Georgia has, especially number 7 in the backfield, DeAndre Swift. Can South Carolina continue tackling, getting hats to the football? The pick 6, the biggest play of the game so far, they might need another takeaway, maybe 2 in the second half, I think, to ice this on the road.
I'll tell you, at least in the first half, the physicality with which South Carolina is playing, they're going toe-to-toe with Georgia, at least up front, defensively and offensively.
And that's their only chance. They have to hit in this game because Georgia's so physical. You mentioned Swift, the way he runs the ball, and that is typically what Georgia does. They run it well, and Fromm is more efficient. He's only 14 of 23 in this game. But again, second half coming up, and we've seen Georgia come back and look like a different team in the second half.
I think Helinski, too. I just think the moxie he has and what he's showing this football team right now, as Joey mentioned, playing banged up, on the road, throwing strikes into small windows down the field. I don't know. There's a different energy on the Gamecock side.
Feels weird, yeah.
It feels weird on the road between the hedges. I'm just saying.
Georgia's won 15 straight against SEC East opponents. This second half is going to be fantastic here on ESPN. And what is a marquee day of college football, especially on our nightcap with LSU and Florida. Let's check in again on the Big Ten. Maryland, Purdue, Jack Plummer to David Bell.
This is a Purdue team, as we know, banged up. Eli Sindelar, their starting quarterback, out. Best wide receiver, Rondale Moore, out. But still, they're fighting.
Don't you tell King Doru that 4-yard touchdown. Purdue surprising up 13-0 early. Second quarter, more Boilermaker, Plummer to Milton Wright.
Yeah, Maryland has hung around and got back in this game, but then it's the big player Purdue. We haven't seen this out of Purdue. Just lost to Penn State last week, got blown out. But offensively, they're finding ways to make these big plays.
Maryland finds their way back in it here. 61-yard TD run by Tyrell Pigrome.
Yeah, listen, Maryland has their own quarterback issues as well. Josh Jackson, he gets hurt last week against Rutgers, so the backup Pigrome in, and he's showing you he can hurt you running the football as well as throwing it.
All right, 23-14, Maryland closed the gap a little bit. That just before the half. Again, notable games today, some big point spreads. Clemson laying nearly 4 touchdowns. Notre Dame double digits against USC. Iowa 3.5 at home. There are some big games with numerous implications. So quickly, gentlemen, Joe, I'll start with you. Is there a team that perhaps you need to look at that slate and put on upset alert?
I think it'd be easy to say that Iowa could be favored in that game. Nate Stanley had 0 interceptions coming into the game against Michigan, throws 3. You don't expect the senior quarterback to play the same way at home, at night, in a big game. And so Iowa definitely has a chance to knock off Penn State.
I'm watching Florida quarterback Kyle Trask in this game on the road at Death Valley. He's not 100% with the knee injury. Can this Florida offense avoid turning it over? They've had 13 giveaways already this year, and we know that Trask likes to hold on to the football. I don't know if LSU has a pass rush. Their 2 starting defensive ends might not play in this one. So if Florida can avoid the TOs, their defense makes a couple plays, maybe, just maybe, Florida's got a shot.
That's also a big line. Each of the last 5 contests between those 2 teams decided by 1 possession. Line is big. The outcome hasn't dictated that. Fair second half prediction. Does South Carolina hang on, Joey?
Nope. Jake Fromm will not do this again.
Jesse, what do you got?
No, and I think Georgia's defense, I think, stiffens up a little bit against the pass. I think the Bulldogs pull away.
All right, we'll see you after the game. Back to Athens after this.
To start the third quarter for South Carolina. An injured knee looked like it might sideline him. Can Jake Fromm respond? There is a lot to digest after the first half. It's a 7-point lead for South Carolina. And the Gamecocks will start with the football. If they were to hold on and win this game, this would be the 3rd best win in South Carolina history, and the first time since 2010, when they beat Alabama when they were number 1, that they would beat a top 3 opponent. We did not expect this. What surprises you the most?
Well, I think the way that the game is shaped out for them defensively, that they've kind of controlled Georgia offensively, just physically, their defensive line and out on the perimeter. And then this is exactly what South Carolina wanted to do. Commit to running the football and then potentially take some shots downfield. They've got a guy that they can do that with in Brian Edwards. That's the difference.
On first down, a seam for Rico Dowdle. A great start to the second half for the South Carolina run game as they pick up 22. If they can run the ball effectively, could there be any other formula that's better for a gimpy quarterback?
Absolutely, being able to turn it around, hand the football off, and in many ways control the football game for him.
Dowdle again. And he picks up about 5, Allison.
It looks like Ryan Helinski is limping a little bit, but Will Muschamp said physically he is fine. Really pleased with how accurate his quarterback was in the first half. And I asked him about the 39 yards rushing. He said with the smile, shoot, I thought we'd have 100 in that first half. But really pleased with the way they were able to run the ball. Defensively, the biggest reason they've been able to stay in this game and contain Georgia's offense is because they've tackled really well and limited explosive plays.
Pop pass knocked down by the corner blitz of Eric Stokes. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And, you know, Will Muschamp can say all he wants that his quarterback is just fine. His quarterback is not just fine. He is absolutely fighting through an injury to that left knee.
Yeah, credit to Ryan Helinski for the toughness, right? But if I'm Kirby Smart and I'm this defense right now and we need something to get our football team feeling good and I see a quarterback that's hurting, here comes pressure. I'm going to make you move on purpose and see if you can.
Tipped ball up in the air, bounces around and falls incomplete. Georgia with a chance for an interception. They do get the stop on third down.
How about the back-to-back plays? First is with Stokes, and watch 11. Jermaine Johnson on the right side of your screen. He's getting cut. Gets his hands off, get up, and bat that ball down. I say it all the time. You could affect the play or the quarterback in more ways than just hitting him. We saw back-to-back plays by Stokes and Jermaine Johnson.
And a good play by Shi Smith, the wide receiver, to knock that one away and avoid a chance at a pick. Blaylock, fair catch at the 10.
I talked about South Carolina's defense the first half. First of all, it's third down man coverage. You tell me who Jake Fromm could throw this football to. Everybody's got sticky defenders on them. And then they've hit Jake Fromm a little bit. They've hit him 5 times in the first half. That's not normal for this Georgia offense. And then they forced him to move off his spot. He's trying to throw that football away. Mukwamu's length allows him to get that pick, and since he's the only guy out there, he turns it into an easy 6 points. But this South Carolina defense has come into Sanford Stadium and said, we're going to play all afternoon.
DeAndre Swift breaks a tackle and picks up about 3.
DeAndre Swift, the ball carrier.
It's going to be interesting to see at least Georgia's offensive mindset, right? Because South Carolina, is Georgia willing to commit to the run? You know, you're down, you're at home. Are they willing to stay committed to running the football and not get impatient for the scoreboard?
Zamir White pulls his way forward for a couple of more yards. Now it's third down at 6. DJ Wanham was there to make the stop. Now they'll roll Swift back in at tailback.
I talked about early in the first half and just coming to the start of the second half, South Carolina playing man-to-man coverage. Look at this matchup right here. See if they get a stack, maybe move Wolf down. See if you can get some rub releases for these receivers.
Fromm well protected, inaccurate on the crossing route, but a flag thrown. George Pickens tried to climb the ladder as Fromm airmailed him. We'll have to check the marker.
Holding against an eligible receiver, number 29 on the defense. The penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot and includes an automatic first down.
It's the Rice transfer, JT eBay.
He held Eli Wolf as he came out of his break. He motioned Wolf down, he put a foot in the ground, and he tried to run away, and eBay just tugged on the jersey.
Play action, pitch and catch to Robertson. Fights his way for a first down. eBay made the stop.
Nice little RPO there by Jake Fromm in this Georgia offense, but I'm looking at that formation and going, okay, when I get my tight end to the field, I got a chance to take advantage of an aggressive safety and play action. Don't be surprised if Georgia gets back to that formation and throws a shot down the field.
We'll give it to Zamir White here, and he is wrestled down by Rick Sandage. Gained a yard.
You know, we talked about Georgia's offensive line and gave them the credit that they deserve. But you've got to be really impressed with South Carolina's will defensively, like their effort on their defensive line. Sandage might have gotten away with a face mask there, but their effort to stop this run.
Zamir White across the 40-yard line for 3. So South Carolina forces another 3rd down. Georgia's 5 for 8. Ernest Jones made the stop.
And so Georgia did a nice job. Their initial 3rd down of this second half, they got into a little bit of a bunch set, motioned the guy down, it helps them pick, and you got crossers. You've got to continue to think that way if you're James Coley and their offensive coordinator, that South Carolina's just going to come out and play man coverage.
They rush 4. From out of the pocket, being chased to the sideline. Coming back to make the catch is Robertson, but it's ruled out of bounds. Short of the 1st down, even if he had held on.
Yeah, Fromm's forced to leave the pocket because of the coverage. Robertson tries to go up, but obviously out of bounds. I've said it all game. This is about South Carolina's just talent on their back end. And going, we're better than you, and we're not going to let anyone get open. And Georgia, right now, offensively, they don't have a guy on 3rd down that they can draw a play up for.
Edwards will let the Camarda punt bounce behind him. Back to 2014 when Dylan Thompson led South Carolina with 3 touchdown passes. Hudson Mason threw for 191 and a couple of touchdowns as well. Todd Gurley added a score, but South Carolina held on as the Dogs missed barely a field goal with about 4 minutes left. That was the last win in this series for the Gamecocks. They've got the lead early 3rd quarter here, but a penalty.
Ball start on the offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Allison Williams. Last halftime lead against a top 5 opponent was against Georgia for South Carolina back in 2012. And they would go on to win that game as well. This a different atmosphere though. Hilinski, screen, Shi Smith, no chance. Slow developing play, and that can't beat the speed of J.R. Reed, Tay Crowder, and the Dogs defense.
So well done by J.R. Reed and Crowder. They saw the motion come over. The motion brings you to the football so often, and there was no hesitation. And now you get 1st down penalty, 1st down loss of yardage, and you're backed up, and the crowd comes into it.
Tavian Feaster, 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 18.
And if you're Georgia defensively, for Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning, I'm playing soft coverage. I would anticipate South Carolina doing 2 things. They're going to run the football, or there is going to be some kind of a screen. I'm not going to give you anything easy. Play some zone defense, come up, make the tackle, and take advantage of the field position.
There's the screen. Brian Edwards has it. And Georgia with a flag down, rallies to the ball, but Hilinski is down on his back inside the 5-yard line, and the flag comes out.
Number 19, 15-yard penalty from previous spot. Excuse me, tacked on the end of the run, 1st down.
Wow, not only is Hilinski down, Brian Edwards is down as well. Georgia roughs the passer, so South Carolina still has the football when we come back. But look at the 2 guys they may be without. Mom Kim's going to come down while Dad waits up in the stands to check on him. Here's what happened.
Well, watch Adam Anderson here, and then Cedarius Hutchinson. As he pressures, Hutchinson's going to stick his right leg out, and that trips Anderson right there. And that's really what forces what looked to be a dirty play, right? A cheap shot play, but it was not an intentional thing. Certainly doesn't look like it because of that trip.
And on the same play, Edwards went down as well. So now it's DeCarrion Joyner taking over at quarterback. Tavian Feaster will bob and weave his way for about a yard, but this is a player, DeCarrion Joyner, that began the year at quarterback, and because of the injuries not only to Jake Bentley, but that injury now to Ryan Hilinski, Joyner becomes the third quarterback to play crucial snaps this year for South Carolina. He had been in the wide receiver rotation as flags fly. It'll be a false start.
False start, offense number 50. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So once again, Hilinski is in the injury tent.
I feel terrible for him, right? He's playing so well. And you only wish and hope that he's okay. And now for DeCarrion Joyner, coming in as a backup quarterback, it's okay. What is my package? You certainly want 89 back in the game as quickly as possible. But what is my package? What am I good at?
Little play action. Bootleg swing pass intended for Josh Vann, and threw it behind him.
So, like, again, what is Joyner good at? Does it change our offensive philosophy or our plan for the rest of this game? And then for Georgia defensively, what is this kid going to do? Is it more of a run game for him? Obviously, 3rd and 15. You're going to be a safe play call right here for South Carolina, maybe quarterback draw, and Georgia needs to anticipate something like that.
There it is. Tavian Feaster into the secondary. Are you kidding me? He's got a first down. Dan, you called it before the snap. If you're Georgia, watch out for the draw, and right up the gut, he picks up the first down.
And that's on play call. South Carolina is spread out, and Georgia only leaves 5 guys in the box, 1 linebacker. The number one thing you should not do against a quarterback that can run, which DeCarrion Joyner is give just 5 people in the box and play cover 2-man on the outside.
Rico Dowdle, a yard.
Going back to that 3rd down, if you play 2-man versus spread out field and only leave 1 linebacker in the box, 4 D linemen, 1 linebacker, they're 5-on-5. You never play that versus a running quarterback on 3rd down.
And when you say 2-man, that's 2 deep safeties and man-to-man on all the receivers.
Yep.
There's a screen to Vann. He gets a block. He gets to the 50-yard line and makes it 3rd down and very manageable for South Carolina. 3rd down and about 2.
And now this is where the Joyner aspect comes into play, because I can't imagine that Georgia was super focused on the potential zone read quarterback pull on 3rd and short. Well, now with DeCarrion Joyner and his athleticism, it becomes much more of a possible play call for South Carolina.
And now only 1 deep safety on 3rd and 2. There's the slant, incomplete, tipped at the line. Vann, the intended receiver. Eric Stokes was there in coverage.
Guys, Hilinski remains in the injury tent. I did see them take a bag of ice into him, though, which is never a good sign. However, Edwards had both of his ankles taped, his left ankle taped twice. He was trying it out, has his helmet back on, and it looks like he may be able to return to this game.
Well, that's very important for DeCarrion Joyner, because for any future possessions, he's going to want his best player on the field. End-over-end punt from Charlton. Blaylock lets it bounce, and it takes the hop into the end zone. Fortunate for the Dogs. Georgia football. Here's Zamir White. What a tradition they have of great running backs for Georgia. And White gets the drive started. But how about this week's CFB 150 all-time greats? We had a unanimous vote that Herschel Walker was indeed the greatest of all time at Georgia. But that's pretty good honorable mentions there. Frank Sinkwich won the Heisman. Champ Bailey, as good as it gotten as a cover corner, and David Pollock, our guy Pollock, certainly deserves
He looks a little
well.
different now, Pollock, than he did certainly on the pictures around campus. So many good players, though. Like, I would put David Green up there. You guys are quarterback eaters, man.
It is hard to pick only 5. Zamir White brought down right at the line of scrimmage by Rick Sandage. And South Carolina again forces Georgia into a third down.
There had to be some kind of miscommunication by Georgia's offensive line. As we see Ben Cleveland, who's the right guard, coming off. My imagination is I would imagine he should have gotten sandwiched there, but this is the story of the game. Georgia has to find a way as coaches to help their players win in man coverage. Motion down, get into some kind of stack, and get some free releases.
Blitz coming from one-on-one to his true freshman, George Pickens. Fights for the football on McQuamu, and he's got the first down catch.
Really nice job by the freshman Pickens. One of the things I saw on tape was contested drops out of this receiving unit. That is a contested catch by Pickens. Strong hands on the big corner, but here's the thing, again, another really difficult third down conversion. Nothing's easy right now for Georgia offensively.
Play action from, was looking downfield for the deep ball and could not find an open receiver again, which allows the sack. DJ Wanham and Kobe Smith all over Jake Fromm.
Really good job by the underneath defenders of South Carolina to drop underneath the big end that's coming at about 18 yards. They tell Jake Fromm, you can't throw it here, and that just gave enough time for that rush to get home.
Coming into today, Jake Fromm had dropped back 114 times this season and had been sacked once. That's the third sack of the day for South Carolina.
Just getting soft coverage on the outside. You see how soft these corners are. Got some free access throws.
Four-man rush. Swift pays the price. Oh, did he get leveled by T.J. Brunson? And now it's third down and close to 9.
Good job by South Carolina changing the coverage at the snap. I'd say DeAndre Swift, that's on him. That ball was thrown on his left shoulder. He turns right. A lot of times quarterbacks will tell you where to turn by the location of the football. Swift should have turned inside there and never taken that hit. Third down, we got man-to-man coverage again. Expect some motion. Motion the receiver all the way across the formation. See if you can get guys running.
That is Blaylock in motion. Wanham came right up the middle. Flags everywhere. Fromm long throw to the sideline, incomplete. DJ Wanham fought his way through, and it looks like it's holding against Georgia.
Holding on the offense, number 71. Penalty is declined. Fourth down.
If I would have told you, Dan, we'd have 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Georgia is at home, and they have not had 1 3-and-out on offense today, and yet they've got only 10 points on the board.
Wow. Third down. They have been dominated on third down offensively.
Wobbly kick for Camarda. Shi Smith let it bounce, and it rolls dead at the 17. Back to work for Dakereon Joyner. A quarterback converted to wide receiver. Forced to go back to quarterback because of 2 injuries now. First to Jake Bentley in the opener, and Ryan Hilinski today here at Georgia. Milking a 7-point lead. Swing pass. Nico Dowdle. Simple pitch and catch, and a good play on first down for 5 yards. Well, Ryan Hilinski may be banged up, but he is involved on that sideline for South Carolina today.
This is incredible. Again, this is a freshman right now. I can't go play. How can I help you? Talk to him. You know, it's really important. I've seen this out of Georgia's defense. This is what they're showing you. This is what you can get to.
Dowdle. It'll be third down. Monty Rice brought him down near the line of scrimmage. So third down and a long 4, close to 5.
And South Carolina's going empty backfield. So Georgia still has only 5 defenders in the box. You're outnumbered if you're Georgia defensively right now.
And they can't get lined up. Joyner in trouble. He will scramble. And he'll come up just short of the first down. Tay Crowder got him on the ground. A half-yard shot.
Nice tackle by Tay Crowder in the open field. Coming off his coverage and making sure just short enough to get his defense off the field.
Ryan Hilinski trying to will that to a first down. It'll be Joseph Charlton out again to try and kick it away. Second in the nation in yards per punt. Wobbly kick. Laylock immediately calls for a fair catch, though, at his own 23-yard line. Another update with Matt.
Guys, a little mayhem there in Georgia. A little all-state mayhem moment here in the Red River shootout. This Roshan Johnson finds a crease, goes 57 yards, which is the longest run for Texas over the last 3 seasons. He would eventually get knocked down. Texas would punch it in. We are tied at 10 in the third.
I'll talk about a shakeup. One way or the other, you can have a little shakeup between the two teams playing in the Red River game. But if South Carolina holds on, shockwaves all around college football. If Georgia can't pull one out at home, as they trail by 7 as we head towards the fourth quarter. Ron back to throw. Steps up. Over the middle into double coverage. And he squeezes it through to George Pickens. What a play by the true freshman.
Contested catches, not contested drops. Fromm gives his guy a chance. The freshman goes up and really rips this football away from Ernest Jones. Contested catches.
And now Georgia plays with some tempo. This is Tyler Simmons. Gain of 8.5. And look at the Dogs trying to go quickly to try and get South Carolina on their heels defensively. James Cook gets outside. First down and more. Inside the 20. Flag down back near the line.
Holding on the offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Second down.
I don't know about this one. Let's watch 74 right there. Ben Cleveland, it's not at the initial contact, but watch when he gets hands on that linebacker. And then when he tries to separate right there, it's a little bit of a jersey tug.
Isn't a little bit of a jersey tug kind of the definition of holding?
Says a defensive guy.
Yeah.
There's holding on every play like that. I don't think that's holding.
You're a quarterback. You used to take all those guys out for dinner. What might be the final play of the quarter? It's a first down nonetheless for Georgia. They'll move the chains to the 30-yard line to Demetrius Robertson. And we head to the fourth quarter here between the hedges. 7-point lead for South Carolina. Seven-point lead for South Carolina, Dan, as we head to the fourth.
Early on, they got their big play-making receiver, Brian Edwards, and man-to-man, they went a double move out and up. Great throw by Hilinski, and then kind of inexplainably, Jake Fromm, under pressure, trying to throw that football away, and Mukwamu's long enough to go make that pick, and that's the difference of the ball game right now. South Carolina up 17-10.
Ryan Hilinski knocked out with a knee injury to carry and Joyner at quarterback for South Carolina. Jake Fromm, though, on a march, plus the center exchange. It's on the deck, and it's a giveaway by Georgia. A muffed center exchange for Jake Fromm's got the other quarterback up with a fist bump on the South Carolina sideline as T.J. Brunson found the loose ball. They want Hilinski to sit back down.
Watch number 55, Trey Hill, the center, move to his right, okay? Jake Fromm has to go with him that way just for a blink. He turns to his left, the center is going opposite that, and that forces the disconnect between hand and football. Hilinski loves it, and obviously a terrible start for Georgia this fourth quarter.
Fabian Feaster looking for a cutback lane. Gets out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Picks up 3. And they're trying to get things straightened out over on the sideline with the center exchange.
And remember, we talked to the coaches yesterday, and they love Trey Hill, but sometimes the snap is not exactly where you want it, and that's a big deal. We saw it there.
Joyner in trouble. Dodges, tackles in the backfield, tucks it under, lowers his shoulders and gets the first down. We've got another injury to worry about for South Carolina now. That's Sadarius Hutcherson, the left tackle, who's down. Already without their quarterback and their best wide receiver, the left tackle. Now looking at his left knee. Ranked teams, Dan, what jumps out?
Well, everyone's talked about Joe Burrow versus the Florida defense. I'm looking at Kyle Trask versus an LSU defense that, hasn't been what they traditionally have been. They're not getting home to the quarterback, and Florida skill players on the outside match up well. I think Kyle Trask has a good chance to go into that environment and at least play well.
Delayed handoff to Rico Dowdle. That was Dan Orlovsky. I'm Bob Wischusen. Allison Williams with us here as well. And between the hedges, South Carolina playing with tempo. A little screen, but flags down. They must not have been set. This is going to cost South Carolina 5. Now with the 7-point lead and the third-string quarterback.
Ball start, offense. Not all 11 players were set for a full second. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Do you like still playing with tempo here? If you're South Carolina, would you prefer to milk the clock?
No, I like playing with tempo because that's who you are. There's a lot of football game left. And also, remember, going back to an athletic quarterback, tempo sometimes creates misalignment. With the guy that has the speed that Joyner does, if you get a guy misaligned, that could be a massive play for your offense. Now, that false start was on him. He's got to make sure everybody gets set before he ever snaps that football.
Bootleg, Joyner, long throw, incomplete. Shy Smith, the intended receiver. And the pressure came from Nolan Smith, the #1 overall recruit, putting pressure. There it is.
Nolan Smith has got a bright future. Big shot right there on Joyner. And I've talked about these 3rd and longs for Georgia so far. Do not put just 5 people up in that box and give the opportunity for the draw or quarterback draw.
Out of the pocket is Joyner, and he'll dirt it. Once again, it's the #1 overall recruit in America, Nolan Smith, all over to carry on Joyner. And it'll be a punt for South Carolina.
They played zone. They brought a corner blitz. Tyreek Stevenson comes off the right side of your screen, unblocked. He forces Joyner to move. An outstanding job by Nolan Smith, staying where you're supposed to stay. Keep contain and leverage. Make the play on Joyner.
Fair catch for the freshman, Dominic Blaylock. Georgia's got it back, down by 7 after a 42-yard punt. Game-changing plays have been made offensively and defensively today for South Carolina. Israel Mukuamu, that pick 6 before halftime, made it 17-10 South Carolina, and that is our score early on in the 4th quarter. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Allison Williams here in Athens. DeAndre Swift grinds out about 5 yards. Now, earlier in the game, Ryan Hilinski was knocked out, and that is him giving the thumbs up and an "I'm okay" and blowing a kiss to his mom. Kim is looking for her son to give her a little bit of reassurance, but he is obviously knocked out of the rest of this game, and who knows for how long.
We kind of saw a little 3 there, right? you know, a little from him and his mother. Awesome, cool, very cool moment.
Swift again. It has been strong on the interior defensively for South Carolina. And it's 3rd down and 3 after we check in with Matt.
Guys, Lincoln Riley dialing up a ball play for Oklahoma here. 2nd and 10, Oklahoma, a little flea flicker to C.D. Lamb. Now, Texas, by the way, leads the nation in missed tackles with 47. Another good example of it there. C.D. Lamb scores 17-10 Sooners.
I don't know if we've seen a South Carolina missed tackle today. They have been so sound, and they force 3rd down and 3. Jake Fromm from a clean pocket, incomplete. Flag thrown from the secondary. Makwamu on Tyler Simmons.
Pass interference, defense number 24. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul. Includes an automatic 1st down.
Makwamu's in good position. Watch at the top, right there at the 30-yard line. There was just a little bit of tug. He pulls Simmons just close to him right there. He's in good position. He's so long. Unnecessary pull at the back of the jersey.
DeAndre Swift right up the middle. And there is that big offensive line just changing the line of scrimmage for 4.5, maybe 5 yards. Penn State, Iowa at Kinnick later on tonight. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on ABC and the ESPN app. That's our Saturday night football game presented by Wells Fargo.
And this is a down for me that I think Georgia needs to do something offensively, aggressive-wise. They've been so run, 1st and 2nd down. Getting in the 3rd down, you want to be aggressive with a play-action shot here on 2nd down.
Zamir White this time, going nowhere. 3rd down and 6. I think the crowd here at Sanford is thinking the same thing you are, Dan. They are getting a little impatient with what they think is conservative play calling into the heart of the South Carolina defense.
And this South Carolina defensive line, just both the linebackers and defensive line are canceling out gaps. There's nowhere right now to consistently run the football. And now you're faced with the 3rd and 7 again. You can see the signal from South Carolina defensively. This bunch set that Georgia's in, they're going to zone this off. So now if you're Georgia, you've got to find some zone beaters.
Across his body, Fromm finds Zamir White. Well-designed play and a 1st down to midfield. What a big 3rd down conversion for Georgia.
That's all Jake Fromm. That was a non-designed screen. He realizes some guy's unblocked. No one's covering the back. Get it out of my hands.
Now they play with tempo. Incomplete. Over the middle for Eli Wolf. Good job by Ernest Jones. And there's a sophomore linebacker, Ernest Jones, that gave up a redshirt year. Last season as a true freshman, he had played 4 games.
Yeah.
The Belk Bowl was game 5. They said, look, you can sit the Belk Bowl out and hold on to another year, or you can play with your guys today. He said, I'm going to play with my guys today.
He's been huge because that's allowed T.J. Brunson to go from middle linebacker to the weak side linebacker. And Ernest Jones is just one of those guys, we can't keep him off the field if we're South Carolina defensively. Communicator, he's consistent for them. He's a big player for South Carolina.
Screen pass, James Cook. Out of bounds at the South Carolina 43-yard line, a couple of yards shy of a 1st down. They'll actually mark him out at the 44, so it's a gain of 7. Another big 3rd down.
And let's be honest, like, if you're Jake Fromm, this 10-minute stretch is huge for your career and legacy. Like, if you're the best quarterback in the country and you're the best quarterback in the SEC East, you do not allow your football team to lose this game. And 3rd downs are going to be the story for the next 9.5 minutes.
Here comes a blitz from outside. Reaching out to try and pick it off is Makwamu. He's got it. 2nd interception of the day for Israel Makwamu. An errant throw from Jake Fromm. Was that just miscommunication on the route he was expecting Matt Landers, the wide receiver, to run?
It's a stop route, and the big thing with the stop route is at the top, if you're Landers, come back down where you came from, your stem. He curled inside. Now there's a lot of contact by Mukwamu as well, but Jake Fromm's throwing that ball, anticipating Landers to come back where he came from. He went inside, balling out. But I said this, do not throw the ball 24's way in man-to-man. You don't match up. But they're calling plays to get their receivers one-on-one against Mukwamu, and you don't have anybody that can just line up and beat him, and it hurts Georgia's offense there.
I think they want to make sure that Mukwamu, as they go to replay here, had complete control of this football as he came down with it. Will it be a turnover? We'll find out when we come back. South Carolina, as it is now, has got the football. State, we could be in store for a shakeup. Right now, Georgia trailing South Carolina by a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma doubling up Texas in the Red River game. Everything else later on or tonight. Of course, the big one between Florida and LSU right here on ESPN at 8 Eastern. They went to review. And the call on the field stood. It is indeed a Mukwamu interception of Jake Fromm. And now a flag thrown from the far sideline, a false start.
False start, offense number 52. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the second time we've seen that. What Georgia's doing is, when the motion comes, watch their defensive line shift.
Now back to the interception. Watch the ball touch the ground there, and that obviously got the attention of the crowd. You are allowed to have the ball touch the ground as long as in the official's opinion you've got complete control of it. As Joyner swings a pass wide to Shi Smith. Smith makes a man miss and gets across the 40 to the 41-yard line. So even though Mukwamu had the ball make contact with the ground, he's controlling it. It's a clean catch, and that was the interception. And now, once again, with tempo, South Carolina is ready to go. Quarterback keeper. Joyner gets outside. Does a good job to slide inbounds to keep the clock rolling a yard shy of a first down. But it kind of runs counterintuitive, doesn't it, to slide and stay inbounds, but then play hurry up?
Well, and also, I don't know if the slide is worth it there. I mean, I would love to see him go get that first down.
Good point.
That slide creates the second or third and long one.
He's going to try and throw for it. And he's got it. Over the middle. A first down catch for Shi Smith. So no Ryan Helinski. Brian Edwards has been able to make his way back in the game.
Nice job by Shi Smith. This shallow ball a little bit low and away, but strong hands to confirm that catch and roll underneath Helinski. How awesome is it seeing him on the sideline and his energy for this team?
Rico Dowdle spins into Georgia territory. Brought down by Tay Crowder.
I think if you're Georgia defensively, you got to start thinking about bringing some pressure against this offense. You know, off both edges. If they're going to be running some zone reads, off both edges so you can shut down the run, but also allocate someone to the quarterback. And you got to trust your back end playing some man-to-man coverage.
And now working on the clock a bit. Looking over was to carry on Joyner. Play clock under 10 this time when they snap the ball. Rico Dowdle. 2 yards. 3rd down and 4. After we remind you that Week 6 of Monday Night Football has arrived. The big NFC North matchup at Lambeau. Matthew Stafford and the Lions take on Aaron Rodgers and the 4-1 Packers. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6.
Now Georgia's going to play with 3 D linemen. And then watch these 2 guys in the middle. They're going to kind of spy Joyner.
Long throw, incomplete, over the head of Shi Smith. And here comes the punt group for South Carolina. They'll try and let Joseph Charlton see if he can pin Georgia deep.
It's a really nice job by South Carolina's offense, though. They just took about 3 minutes off the clock. Got about, what, 25, 30 yards of field position, and now they give their weapon of a punter the chance to make Georgia go a long way.
And there's the intentional end-over-end kick. It's going to land inside the 10 and gets stopped by South Carolina at the 3. This season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like these by awarding the Live Moss Student Section of the Year. The Dawgs student section already on the national watch list. Head to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete and get the committee's attention by using the hashtag Live Moss Student Section Contest. Well, they're going to need some help from the student section maybe to get their offense riled up. The last 7 drives for Georgia. A couple of turnovers, 3 turnovers in fact, mixed in there. And now they start from their own 4. From the end zone, Jake Fromm looking downfield. He's going to take a shot for Pickens. Incomplete.
Georgia offensive line coach Sam Pittman wants his guys to keep their heads up literally and figuratively, telling them when they're running the football they have to defend the double team with their eyes up and reminding them to stay in the moment. He said, who cares what's happened to this point? You have to forget about it and look forward. All we need is 1 score. He said, let's go, guys, and he wants them to go a little bit faster. Too much time in between plays for their liking right now.
Well, they've only got 6:19 left, and with the long field out in front of them, this may be their last opportunity with the football. Draw play. Swift. Close to a first down, about a yard shy. Quickly back to Matt Barry.
Okay, guys, here comes Texas in Dallas against Oklahoma. Sam Ehlinger from 3 yards out. And they've closed the gap right now, 20-17 Oklahoma, headed to the 4th.
We're headed down to the last 5.5 minutes. 3rd and 1 for Georgia. Flags down. South Carolina thinks they were drawn off.
Offside.
They were not.
Defense number 3. High contact. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Watch Jake Fromm here. Watch the little head bob with some energy. You get deep in your voice right there. Kinlaw's paying attention. He's having a dominant game. He hears the cadence. Nice job by the vet quarterback.
And that gives Georgia a first down. Fromm out of the pocket. He's going to tuck it under and run. That'll stop the clock, at least for the moment, with 5:25 to go as he picks up 7.
Any means necessary right now for Jake Fromm in this offense. To Allison's point, talking about Sam Pittman, it doesn't matter what has happened to this point. You have to find a way to do what's necessary to go and score a touchdown and tie this football game up. If it's running a couple times, do whatever it takes.
A lot of time coming off the clock. Play clock down to 1 at the snap. Fromm up the seam, threw it a little low, but reaching back to make the catch. Another freshman, Dominic Blaylock. Gain of 16.
Good job by Blaylock. And this throw by Fromm is there on purpose. He sees that corner coming over the top. Throw it low and allow your guy to go make a catch.
The sideline, Pickens.
Guys, Georgia is missing one of their bigger-bodied receivers on the outside. Lawrence Cager is out for the game with a rib injury. Keep that in mind on this drive.
You got to go with tempo here if you're Georgia. When you've played with tempo, South Carolina's got a little softer on the outside. Easier throws for them.
DeAndre Swift He is driven back. Able to pick up about 3. Kingsley and Igbari was there, along with R.J. Roderick.
Right now, I like working the left side of the field if I'm Georgia. To my right is Mukuamu, who's had a big day. To my left, J.C. Horn, really good corner, but at least I feel like I've got a chance over there. Work the left side of your field.
And that's George Pickens, the freshman. He's out wide to the left. Play action. From looking back to the left. Floats one down the sideline, incomplete. Laylock had a step. Jamie Robinson, the nickelback, tried to stay with him. And now we've got another injury for the Gamecocks. Aaron Sterling, the right defensive end, is down. Our next UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus is tonight at 8 Eastern. In Tampa, it'll be former champ Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on Michelle Waterson in the strawweight main event. Both are looking for a title fight with a win. To order the main card in English and Spanish, head to ESPNplus.com and be sure to download the ESPN app if you're watching on a mobile device. The prelims start at 5 Eastern. It has been a war of attrition today for South Carolina. Think about the players that they have either lost for the game or at least for a good portion of the game. They've lost their left tackle, Sadarius Hutcherson, obviously the quarterback, and Ryan Helinski. Brian Edwards was knocked out for quite a while. Now you got a starting defensive end and Aaron Sterling walking off the field. They were already without their right tackle, Dylan Wanham, today. So they are trying to do this shorthanded, pull off a huge upset.
They've hung their hat on kind of who they want to be, right? They've hung their hat on running the football, not making mistakes, and playing great physical in-your-face defense. I talked about it last play. If I'm Georgia here, I'm putting the guy that I don't want to throw the football to the bottom of the field, to the right, where Mukuamu is. And I'm going to work to the left side of the field, into the boundary. That's where I've got my best matchup. I've got to give Jake Fromm a guy that if they play zone, you can beat him, and if they play man, you can beat him.
Huge third down here. 4-man rush. Fromm well protected to the sideline. Toe tap. Robertson, first down.
Nice play call. They gave Jake Fromm a zone beater to the right side of the field. A beautiful throw, and Robertson making sure that he secures that catch, getting feet down.
Pickens wide open. One-on-one. Lowers his shoulders. Picks up another first down. Down to the 15-yard line. A drive with a game on the line for Georgia that began at their own 4-yard line.
South Carolina's going to line up and play one-on-one. Could be a matchup up there.
Fromm looked end zone. Now he's extending the play. And he'll throw it away. Aaron Sterling wasn't out for long. He came back in and chased down Jake Fromm and forced the throwaway. It's never been a good sign for Georgia when Jake Fromm has had to throw the ball a lot. Well, today, in completions and attempts, both career highs.
Kind of talked about how they want to never play from a position of safe on offense because their run game is getting shut down. That's what they've had to do, play kind of safe because they've been in third and longs and not being able to beat man.
Zamir White down to the 11-yard line. Another massive third down with 2.5 minutes to go.
You got to remember now, this field is significantly smaller than it was 30 yards ago. They did a good job that last third down of giving Fromm a man option and a zone option. Listen, I got to imagine that South Carolina, yep, corner's coming over. You see number 1, J.C. Horn, running over to this trip side. This is telling Fromm we're in man-to-man coverage, send some motion, find a man beater crossing the field.
Fromm pumps. High throw to the pylon, incomplete. Looking for Wolf. Now it's 4th down. And with 1:59 to go, you have to go for it.
Right now, if you get into this situation and you're Georgia, you go to your best 3rd and 7 call. Understand it's 4th down, but you go to your best 3rd and 7 call. And if you line up and you don't like it, the look for South Carolina defensively, you call a timeout. The play is more important than the timeout.
Down to 5 on the play clock. Down to 2. They get it off. Fromm under pressure, floats one in the back of the end zone. Wolf, the intended receiver. Out comes the flag. He was held just shy of the goal line. Jamie Robinson's going to get called for the penalty. The sideline for South Carolina wants that to be ruled uncatchable.
Holding against the eligible receiver, number 7 of the defense. Automatic first down.
That's the right call. You're going to see Jamie Robinson at the bottom of the screen right there, tug on Eli Wolf. Nice job by Eli Wolf for trying to fight through that contact. And I know Helinski doesn't like it, but it's uncatchable because of that hold.
With the game on the line, 1st and goal for Georgia. Back of the end zone. Caught. Feet in. Yes! Touchdown! Demetrius Robertson somehow got a foot down in the back of the end zone.
How about the throw by Fromm? Just looks like he got that left foot down, ball over the top. The concentration to make that catch and make sure that left foot got down. They got Robertson on a safety. A beautiful throw by Jake Fromm up over the top, right? Types of throws. Outstanding drive by Georgia, led by their big-time quarterback.
You want to talk about a prove-it drive for a quarterback when everything has gone wrong since basically the end of the 1st quarter? A 13-play, 96-yard touchdown drive. And now it's on Rodrigo Blankenship, who's working on a record of consecutive made point afters to try and tie it up. Got it. Tied at 17. Matt Barry, back to you.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Good finish there in Athens. What about Oklahoma? Jalen Hurts to CeeDee Lamb, and again, it's the tackling of Texas. 2 missed tackles. CeeDee Lamb scores 27-17 in the 4th.
.148 to go in the 4th quarter here. Tied at 17. Now South Carolina playing with their 3rd-string quarterback. They've got all 3 timeouts. I can't imagine they're thinking, let's just play for overtime. You're going to roll the dice and see if you can try to get into field goal range and win this game?
Absolutely. If you're South Carolina, you're aggressive offensively. You know, you came in here to try to pull off the upset, and you're giving yourself the chance. And then if you're Georgia defensively, I have 2 mindsets. 1, number 89, Brian Edwards, is not going to beat me. And number 2, I'm not going to let DeCarrion Joyner's legs beat me. I will spy him every play. I will force him to run in areas that I want him. Those two guys will not beat me in either way.
Shi Smith gonna let this one go through the back of the end zone. How about that last drive from a quarterback that you think might be the best in America, Dan?
You called it. It was a show-me drive. Whatever it took. We saw a scramble. No one was open. We saw him make contested throws, push the ball to the sideline, a huge third down zone ball, and then the touchdown. Up over the top. The perfect type of throw in the perfect location. He needed it. He delivered.
As well, Kirby Smart's got all 3 of his timeouts. So if South Carolina gets conservative, he might look to use them. They're not going to get conservative. They're going to throw the ball to the sideline and complete it to Nick Muse. There's some faith into Kerryon Joyner. Joyner, sideline again, this one incomplete.
You see South Carolina trying to get Brian Edwards, number 89, in different spots. They want to make sure they're moving him around, finding matchups.
Joyner down the sideline, trying to drop one in. Chavis Dawkins with a flag out. Working on DJ Daniel.
Pass interference. Defense number 14. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Let's watch Daniel here. Certainly some contact on Dawkins there. I just don't see pass interference on that.
Dowdle in the flat, bottled up. Lost a couple of yards. Richard LeCount made the stop. And it might be a timeout called by Will Muschamp. He's going to try and preserve some time and settle his team down as Parker White gets warmed up on the sideline, hoping for a chance. What a start to the day in college football. What a finish it could be tonight at Death Valley. And after they're done between Florida and LSU, Michael Eaves and Kenny Mayne will have Sports Center. They will have Ed Orgeron and Dan Mullen's live postgame press conferences. Plus the college football teams with the easiest path to the playoff. Yankees Astros game 1, Nationals Cardinals game 2. All that and more on Sports Center after college football later on tonight on ESPN and the ESPN app.
I really think if you're Georgia defensively, you've got to be ultra aware of a designed quarterback run. You know, South Carolina really only needs another 10, 12, 15 yards as a potential field goal, so I don't necessarily want to play some man coverage. I'd like to bring some kind of blitz, but a zone blitz. Bring some pressure and play some zone, have all the eyes on the football.
They need about another 20 yards or so to be comfortably inside Parker White's range. Joyner makes a man miss and gets dragged down from behind at the 43-yard line. Again, that's Nolan Smith, the freshman, making a tackle. Down to a minute 12 to go. 3rd down and 6. 3-man rush. Nowhere to go with the football for Joyner. He's going to try and run for it. Gets tripped up short. 4th down and 3 at the 40-yard line. Well, from here, you're looking at about a 57-yard field goal.
Kirby should call a timeout.
It's 4th down and 3. And Georgia will spend a timeout.
Guys, I talked to Will Muschamp before the game, and he said if it came down to a game winner, he would be most comfortable at the 35-yard line was the extent of the range for his kicker. So a tough decision here on 4th down.
Parker White made a field goal of 49 3/4 yards, basically, earlier in this game, just a shade inside 50, and that is his career long. This would be from here in the neighborhood of 57, maybe 58 yards.
I would imagine that Will Muschamp not only goes for this, but leaves his offense out there, and the formations have been good to them.
Now, if you go for this and you don't get it, plenty of time for Georgia to get Blankenship in field goal range. And here comes Parker White. They're going to try it from 58. Clean placement. Will it reach? Doesn't matter. It's wide right. And now Georgia's got a chance with great field position and 2 timeouts. Will Muschamp went for the win. Low percentage, but went for the win. What do you think?
I did not love the kick. I would have left the offense out there, especially with the athlete I had at quarterback. My offense has been decent running the football, and that's a lot to ask for a kicker. Now Georgia offense, you need about 25 yards to have a shot at it. You've got your 2 timeouts. The whole playbook is open. The whole field is accessed. The one thing I'm not doing, throwing the ball to my right, to the bottom of our scheme at 24.
Fromm has all day. It's a check down to Swift, and it's thrown behind him. Rodrigo Blankenship, perfect on the season so far. He has made pressure kicks in the past.
I've seen this a little bit from Jake Fromm today. Just some missed throws, not out of character for him, and that's a big miss. That's a 12, 15-yard game there. I still think there's the opportunity. South Carolina's walking DJ Wanham out over number 1 Pickens. Right here, not giving him a free release off the line of scrimmage. But you've got some opportunity to throw the ball down those seams.
Draw play. And finding some room is Swift. And now you might want to call a timeout. And they will. 28 seconds to go. If Georgia can get the ball anywhere inside the 40, close to the 35-yard line, you know they feel like that guy can make a game-winning kick.
Yeah, and that gives you a lot of confidence as a play caller, right? That you can get the ball to at least a decent chance or shot at a kick. 3rd and 3 here, 3rd and 4 for this Georgia offense. It's been the story of the game, right? South Carolina, as a play caller, you got to think South Carolina's going to play man-to-man on me. Who is my best matchup? I don't really have one. Then what is the thing, what is the play that's going to create that matchup? That's why you got to get into some kind of condensed splits. Receivers next to each other, get rub, get some kind of pick, get running across the field. And I've said this before, Jake Fromm has missed the back a little bit. And the back against man-to-man coverage with some picks can pop open uncovered.
Blankenship's only missed this season was the kick that DJ Wanham blocked before halftime. If he has gotten the kick past the line of scrimmage this year, it's gone through. Can they set him up? 3rd down and 2.
There is one-on-one right there, no help.
Fromm instead looks right. Now he's going to get out of the pocket and run. Fromm to the sideline, preserves time, and picks up a 1st down. For the South Carolina 43.
This drive, this 4th quarter for Fromm reminds me a little bit of Patrick Mahomes a couple weeks ago against the Detroit Lions. Not having the greatest game, but when the ball was in his hands at the end, it took whatever it needed to take to get the win. Couple runs by Mahomes have been big. Couple runs by Jake Fromm have been big.
possession. Tyler Simmons right about at the target line, and a timeout call. 13 seconds to go. Georgia now out of timeouts. Now, we saw before halftime, they tried to get one quick to the sideline. Didn't work, and they had time on the clock for Blankenship. 13 seconds, plenty of time to run a play.
Yep.
Are you taking that chance?
Yeah, so I am. So this is the first thing. You're talking to your quarterback, Jake Fromm. By any means, this ball gets out of your hands. You do not take a sack. Second thing, as a play caller, there's no route that is underneath the first down marker for me here. I don't want this ball caught at 3 or 4 yards, and that's on your quarterback as well. I don't want it caught at 3 or 4 yards and the clock runs out. I want to get some 7, 8 yard designed routes past the first down, get a completion and a quick spike. You've got 2 downs to do that if you do it efficiently for Georgia.
A field goal of about this distance before halftime. His last attempt, and the only miss that Blankenship has had this year was that block by Wano.
And I'd probably take Simmons, who's been kind of my reliable guy, and I would leave him on the bottom of the screen with Mukwamu. And then I've got to get something with Pickens, who I think matches up decently well with J.C. Horn at the top of our screen, and maybe a stop route, maybe a comeback, something that's going to make sure I get past that first down marker.
From sideline, broken up. 8 seconds to go. Eli Wolf, the intended receiver. They may have to kick it from right here. It is 3rd down, so you can run one more play potentially as long as it's to the sideline.
It's a strategic play, though. What you're doing here, there's no way I'm trying to get a completion. I'm going to tell Jake Fromm, catch this snap, throw it over number 87 Simmons' head to our bench. We waste 3 or 4 seconds, and then we attempt our field goal. We either win the game or go into overtime. There's no way I leave any time.
Play clock down to 3. Down to 2. They get the snap off. Fromm looking sideline, flag down, and that's tipped and out of bounds with 3 seconds on the clock. We'll have to check the penalty marker on the far side of the field, and this could be a huge call.
We're going to get a legal formation. They changed their formation, never got set for a second.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 1, number 16 moving at the same time and not reset for a full second. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Watch these guys as they change the formation and they switch. One goes from off, one goes from on. Ball gets snapped. You got to be set for a second right there.
And obviously to Kirby Smart, that knocks them out of field goal range. He's not going to put the field goal group out there, it looks like. It looks like they are now going to just throw one, I guess, into the end zone. And they're not going to get an opportunity with Blankenship to win the game before overtime. Either that, or maybe Fromm just plays for overtime. It would be a 60-yard field goal or so if they tried it. And now Will Muschamp's going to call a timeout. Are you surprised that with Blankenship, no one knows his kicker better than Kirby Smart? But a guy that made a 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl wouldn't be given a chance from 60 yards, where the only way it burns you is if it's blocked and run back.
I mean, I would give Blankenship a shot at this. I don't have a feeling, again, South Carolina has a 6'4" corner out there in Mukwamu, so a jump ball is going to be a huge advantage for him. But you're in this position because you mismanaged 3rd down. I would give Blankenship a shot at this kick.
I think the crowd is chanting Rodrigo. I think the crowd wants to see Blankenship get a shot at it. And they are booing the fact that Blankenship's not going to get a chance to kick it from downtown.
But in Kirby's defense, he might only be a 58-yarder. You know, like, Kirby knows the kicker better than anybody, and he may not have a chance at 60.
What's the harm, though? What's the higher percentage play? Throwing a Hail Mary in the end zone, or letting him try a 50 or a close to 60-yarder. It's moot now. Fromm looking downfield, gets hit as he throws. The ball comes out, and it is ruled, I believe, a fumble. It's picked up by Javon Kinlaw, and he gets bumped out of bounds, and we will go to overtime.
That's the end of regulation with the score tied at 17.
Kinlaw comes up gimping.
Kinlaw's been so good with his effort. This is Sterling on the back end.
That's not a fumble. His hand was coming forward, but it would have been the last play regardless. So we head to overtime when we come back. South Carolina won the toss and has chosen to take the defensive route. So it will be Georgia football to begin overtime. Dan Orlovsky, a look back at how we got here.
Well, it started with Ryan Helinski finding his big receiver, Brian Edwards, in a man-to-man situation. They went double move and a big touchdown. Fromm is pressured. He's trying to throw the ball away over to his sideline. Mukwamu's length turns it into a pick six. And then when they needed it the most, Jake Fromm and this offense delivered a beautiful touchdown pass to Robertson. South Carolina goes on a drive. They attempt a field goal. Comes up short and wide right. And then Georgia had a chance, totally mismanaged the end of the football game, and ends up trying a Hail Mary, I think.
Well, you made a great point while we were away about what might have been going through Kirby Smart's mind, considering his coaching history.
Yeah, I mean, we remember the kick six, Alabama-Auburn, when Alabama goes to attempt that game-winning field goal and it's returned back for the touchdown. Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator at Alabama. And I wonder if that was in the back of his mind in fear of attempting that kick, coming up short, and it returned.
Instead, his offense begins overtime. DeAndre Swift keeps the pile moving. About a 4-yard gain.
Georgia bringing Swift out and Cook in. It's almost like if you're Georgia and you're a play caller, it's like, okay, what have we done well today? What do I feel like I can get to? I love the fact that they're in this bunch set up here, because if South Carolina is going to play some man coverage, that gives you a chance to have runners and picks and people running away from coverage.
Tipped ball, intercepted! It's Mukwamu again! They are stunned here in Athens as it goes off the hands of Tyler Simmons, and it's a hat trick for Israel Mukwamu.
You'll see the throw from Fromm. It's right where it needs to be. Pops off Simmons' hands and Tipsley depicts. And we've talked about Mukwamu's length. That 6'4" frame comes into play again. The arm length to go secure that ball for the pick, and now South Carolina has a huge opportunity.
And they set up Parker White to try and win the game. Dowdle. Inside the 25, just inside the 22-yard line.
If I'm South Carolina, as we see Ryan Helinski, who's such an important part of this football team, if I'm South Carolina, the ball's not going in the air. It is going to be 3 runs. I'm never going to put the ball at risk, and we're going to attempt a field goal.
Dowdle. Inside the 20, down to about the 17-yard line, couple of yards shy of a first down. For right here, you're only looking at about a 35-yard field goal.
And right now, it's about, as a play caller for South Carolina, where does Parker White like the football? Is he a left hash kicker? Is he a middle of the field kicker or a right hash kicker? So that's the only thing that matters on this play call, is keeping the football where your kicker likes it. Your players need to know it. You need to know it as a play caller.
And they're going to try and put it in between the hash marks. Dowdle comes up a yard short. Here comes Parker White to try and win it for South Carolina. Will a timeout be called by Georgia to try and ice him? Kirby Smart heading down next to the officials. There's the timeout. South Carolina, Will Muschamp, they knew they had to take the ball away today to have a chance. Well, they have done that, and it's mostly been this guy.
Mukwamu's been outstanding. The first one is Jake Fromm trying to throw that ball away. I'll say it again, the length by Mukwamu allows that interception. Then he's getting physical with Landers, and again, the length that leads to the pick. And this one's kind of gifted to him. Right off Simmons' hands. He's in the right place at the right time. The football found Israel Mukwamu today. Turnovers had held this team back. It's been the story of the football game for South Carolina defensively.
Parker White has not missed this season inside of 50 yards. He's 8 for 8. This one from 33 to try and win it. Right over the upright and no good! We play on! What could possibly happen next? We'll find out when we come back. Parker White's first miss from under 50 yards this season. A crushing blow for Ryan Helinski and the Gamecocks. A reverse to Brian Edwards as we start overtime number 2. So immediately South Carolina has to put a missed 33-yard field goal behind them, put their offense right back on the field, and continue with overtime.
They come out with a little bit of a gadget play against this Georgia defense. Right, a reverse to Brian Edwards gets them in a really good second down situation. And the challenge for Georgia right now is, how risky do you want to get? How much are you willing to expose your back end on number 89, Brian Edwards, but commit to stopping that run?
Joyner out of the pocket. Stays on his feet. Hit out of bounds as well. Very close to the first down. He gets up with a little limp.
We've had some of these in the second half. And I've talked to you, Bob, about I don't like their play call. This ball should not go in the air. You're a football team that is committed to running the football. I'm going to get double pullers. I'm going to pin with my tight ends. And I'm going to give Dakereon Jordan the option to give it or keep it.
Timeout called by Will Muschamp. So the Gamecocks will use the only timeout they have in overtime number 2. And there's a very good chance Parker White's going to find himself right back out there. Now, instead of a game-winning kick, just needing a kick to try and put his team on top. You have to have amnesia across the board in college football overtime because it just changes so quickly. Let's go back to Matt.
Okay, Bob, checking in on OU in Texas. Jalen Hurts out of the shotgun, takes it in and right up the gut. Sooners up 34-20. Texas driving late in the fourth. And coming up next after this exciting game, Austin Kendall, West Virginia, set to host Iowa State. That's coming up right here on ESPN, guys.
Well, Matt, we have had a low-scoring thriller between the hedges. Papa Schusen, Dan Orlovsky, Allison Williams, overtime number 2. It's hard when you're the get-back coach in overtime to get Kirby Smart off the field.
The ball's going to get right there. Look at all that weight that South Carolina's got up on the line of scrimmage. Extra offensive lineman, Joyner changing to play.
Dowdle hit behind the line. Second effort. Did he get there? It looks like he's short. Now here's a snap decision you have to make if you're Will Muschamp. Your kicker just missed. It's 4th down and a foot. Would you go for it?
I wouldn't. I would kick the field goal here.
He's going for it. He's out of timeout, so they have to make a decision quickly or risk a delay of game. Already down to 13 on the play clock. They're still looking over to the sideline. They can't get a play call in. 7 to go. They have to get lined up.
Take the delay and kick the field goal.
Oh, they're going to get bailed out. Kirby Smart called a timeout on defense. Very interesting. And now they will have a chance to go over and talk things over.
And I don't think South Carolina was ever going to run a play. I think they were just going to get up there, try to draw Georgia off sides, and be willing to take the 5-yard penalty and kick the field goal. Look at Kirby Smart at the bottom of the screen right here as he goes down to this referee. Just as South Carolina gets set, that timeout came from Coach Smart. And listen, if you don't feel good about it defensively, you use the timeout and you make sure your team is right in that situation. I just don't think South Carolina was ever going to call one.
Well, is it a hard count again? Because they're leaving their offense on the field. Parker White's still over on the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing a hard count here, no. If I'm putting my offense out on the field, it's because I want to go get a first down. I'm not going to get tricky here and hurt myself. I've got 6, 7 big bodies on the field. I've talked about the pin and pull. You just tried to run at Georgia and it didn't work. Utilize Dakarian Joyner's athleticism.
They'll give it to Dowdle. He's got the first down, spins inside the 10. Down to about the 8-yard line, 1st and goal.
And they went to the pin and pull, the right side of the offensive line. Collapsed Georgia's, they pulled the 2 guys around, created a huge hole, and Dowdle followed it.
I guess Will Muschamp feels I gave my kicker one chance. I'm going to trust my offense now. Davian Feaster, Clemson transfer to the 6-yard line.
Just telling you, if South Carolina wants to, you can run a very similar formation, a very similar play, and Joyner is going to be a better athlete with more speed than the guy that is playing in between handoff and quarterback responsibilities. It's there if South Carolina sees it and wants it.
Flag's down. Feaster is down. Shy of the 6-yard line. Brought down by J.R. Reed. And that flag thrown at the line of scrimmage right at the snap.
Offside. Defense number 76. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Carter jumped off sides. He was lined up off sides. See how the flag came out super early from that official? He was already lined up in that neutral zone. Easy call for the official.
So that will put the ball at the 3-yard line and give the Gamecocks the down back. Second down and goal at the 3.
One-on-one up here with your big-time SEC receiver.
They run the option. Dowdle turns the corner. Can't get to the pylon. Aziz Ojulari drove him out. It'll be third down and goal. They'll mark it at the 2.
I think if you're Georgia defensively, I've said this a lot, I'm not giving Bryan Edwards a chance to catch this football one-on-one. I'm going to give him some help. I'll play man-to-man everybody else across the board. And if you're South Carolina, I want to see you get to Kerryon Joyner on the edge.
Dowdle blown up in the backfield. Tyler Clark rifles through. And now they have no choice but to try the field goal.
Watch Clark right here. Watch how he gets skinny on the snap of the ball. Dip the shoulder, get skinny, beat the guard off the snap. What a huge play. What a huge series of plays for Tyler Clark.
And now another short-range try for Parker White. And this one's down the middle. So now Georgia can win the game with a touchdown. They get their opportunity in overtime number 2. It's hard to get skinny if you're 3 Bills. He just found a way.
Watch him just get skinny. 300-pound senior, beat the guard off the snap. And he almost takes the handoff. He was the guy who made the stop on the 3rd down before South Carolina went for it on 4th down. You know what that tells me? He knew the snap. He's like, okay, I know the snap. I've got their cadence, whatever their rhythm is, and I can time this. And sometimes you got to bet on yourself, right? Tape study, your experience, bet on yourself. And that told me Tyler Clark knew it. All right, Jake Fromm.
It's right there for Georgia. A touchdown wins it. DeAndre Swift hit at the line again by T.J. Brunson. The first player that Will Muschamp signed when he got the job at South Carolina makes another play for him.
Yeah, Brunson's speed actually allows him to make that play. He kind of backdoor Trey Hill. He saw front side, okay, my defensive line's got it. I can kind of use my athleticism, anticipate the cutback by Swift, and he's right there for the tackle. I like the stack split out of Georgia at the bottom of the screen.
Bootleg for Fromm. Middle screen, bobbled, and it falls incomplete. Charlie Warner had it, and if that one stays in the air, South Carolina could have won the game with a takeaway. Now it's 3rd down and 10.
Georgia offensively. South Carolina's kind of playing in between here. Are we going to give you zone or are we going to give you man? You've got to give Jake Fromm. One side of the field, this is your zone beater. One side of the field, this is your man beater. They've got man-to-man across the board. You have to find your matchup.
Blitz coming. Fromm's going to take a shot towards the end zone. Incomplete. Demetrius Robertson got turned around. Crowd looking for a call. Jamie Robinson was there in coverage. So here comes Blankenship.
It's good coverage by Robinson. There's no PI there. You'd like a little bit firmer ball by Jake Fromm, but if Robertson just adjusted a little bit better, that's a touchdown on the front pylon.
So now Rodrigo Blankenship from 42 to try and extend the game. He pulled it! Unbelievable! South Carolina wins! An historic win for South Carolina. Their first against a top 5 team, as you can see, in quite a while. And Allison is down there with a head coach who is enjoying Allison this win.
Some big and well-deserved hugs for Coach Muschamp. Coach, first of all, what is going through your mind when Blankenship sails that kick?
I heard from him.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it to end in that fashion. Georgia's got a great team, well coached, a bunch of good players, and just, you know, I'm happy for our guys. It was a heck of a game, and I hate anyone had to lose the game.
You were on the other side, though, of that missed field goal in overtime when you guys missed one as well. Yeah. What was going through your mind then?
Our guys will keep fighting their ass off. It's a hell of a day to be a Gamecock, isn't it? You know, isn't it awesome?
What was required of your team to come on the road without your starting quarterback for much of the second half and win that?
Well, we lose Jake in the early season. We lose Ryan to carry on his halfway practicing because of the hamstring. It says a lot about the culture of our program, the leadership of our program, the type players we have in our program, and the future of our program.
What does it mean to you and to this program to get this top 5
victory? It don't mean a damn thing to me. I'm happy for our kids.
Thanks, Will.
It means something to him. How about the end of this one, Dan?
This is a team that came in here with a mission, right? And they wanted to get physical with Georgia. They wanted to play their style, put the game on their terms. Ryan Helinski battled and played so well early on, but they did it shorthanded. And it's a little bit emblematic of their coach, right? Tough, confident, not scared, won't back down. And they came in to Sanford Stadium, and today we're the better football team.
Heartbreak for the Dogs, a celebration for the Gamecocks. And maybe the most unlikely finish that we could have imagined, and it's Rodrigo Blankenship, who has been Mr. Icewater in his Georgia career, missing one from well inside what is normally his comfortable range.
But we can both agree, and hopefully everyone watching at home, South Carolina deserved to win the football game, right? They gave, in many ways, Georgia chances, and they never capitalized on them. And the team that played better, and I would argue played harder and did the little things better, won the football game today.
Isn't that the coach that said it doesn't mean much to him, just means a lot to his kids? I think it means plenty to him, and there's the hero. Israel Makwamu, 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. And South Carolina heads home a winner. For Allison Williams and Dan Orlovsky, I'm Bob Wischusen. Hopefully the rest of the day is just as exciting. So long from Athens. Time to go back to the studio. College Football Scoreboard.
Wow, what a finish out there in Athens. We got about 17 minutes coming up. Brock Purdy and Iowa State travel to West